fans,
okay.
Some of your fans, they fell for the bait. I was very disappointed in that.
Well, let's hear all about
Would it be
it.
anything similar to this title?
I'm not against that title. I'm not against that title.
Okay.
So which title is it that you're?
No, it was a go to your posts. Go to your post. You'll see what I'm talking about. Scroll down.
Shout out to Bortle.
This nonsense. It was at like 73 to like 27. I'm like, all right, that's enough. We've gone too far.
For this?
Who is currently stronger? Everyone on this planet is smoking crack if they think that he is stronger than Boruto right now, even without karma. Ooh, yeah, I said it. I said the truth. And I don't know who voted in this poll, if the FBI agents were working overtime, but this is crazy work.
So
like
Kamui,
genuinely,
out of curiosity, was for this poll meant to be, because you have the picture as Borushiki, but you said Boruto. So who did you have in mind for this?
I don't care whoever you want it to be.
It doesn't matter either way. Wait, so Ood-kun, hold up. Like what are you guys like? Who do you guys think has this one? I guess is what I should ask.
So is this supposed to be base Kawaki versus base Boruto? That's what I'm asking.
No,
just whatever this is like versions of the characters Kawaki. You want. Yeah, peak versus peak. It says stronger. Kawaki. So whatever you think their strongest form is.
Yeah,
okay. So again, though, is Boruto using karma or not using karma? This hypothetical.
Does karma make him stronger in the fight?
Hold up, no. We have to use in character versions. We don't even. It doesn't even matter if he uses karma. He doesn't need it. I guess it's my first.
I think the hypothetical karma to Kawaki without limiters is probably stronger than base Boruto right now.
When you say stronger, do you mean striking force, killing potential? Like we're talking about like in a fight, a head-to-head collision, right? We're using plain English here, because like there's so many things that Kawaki just can't answer, and more importantly, that Kawaki has gotten nerfed a little bit. You guys, like, is everyone forgetting that this nerf?
Well, no, we know, but we'll get to that. But what are the things you can't answer that you're referring to?
Wait, say that again.
You said there's things he can't answer. So what are you referring to with that?
Okay, let's start off with Let's start with the basic. Rasengan Uzuhiko. What's his counter to that?
Don't get hit by it.
Okay, well, shit. So, like, the numerous ways Boruto has shown he can activate it, either through, like, activating it, creating, like, that vortex around him, and, the enemy goes to attack him, and it, like, spreads out on their arm like it did with Code. That works.
Okay, we still don't know what the hell that was, because we don't even know if it did anything or not.
You're joking. What? There's no way you're serious right now.
We don't know what that hit to Code.
He literally, what do you mean? It literally, we saw it go up his arm.
Yeah, what did that do?
Kamui. What do you mean? It went up his arm. It went. That's what. Hold up.
And what was the side effect of that? Because Boruto was also, when Code was missing him, Boruto was using Flying Raijin to dodge, and he was talking about Boruto's movements being strange and how it's ... implying teleportation.
Well, that is definitely what Mello says.
I much prefer that Boruto made Code like halfway dizzy, and that was making him miss. So much cooler. But
the beginning effects
dialogue suggests it's Flying Raijin for that.
What? No. 100. Like, when we see him beginning to activate Uzuhiko, it first goes around his whole body. Which, we can talk about the disparities on when he can and can't activate that thing at some point, because golly, the inconsistencies of how long he needs to charge it. Kind of crazy work. But, no.
I mean, he was just walking towards Code, so did he just do like an instant activation at the beginning?
No.
Leave it at that, or what was he doing there?
At the end of the chapter, he activated. I'll show you Rasengan Uzuhiko, and he activated it at the end of the chapter.
But he also activated it before it. So, like, does Rasengan Uzuhiko have 2 activations, or is it just like
plenty of jutsu? Yeah, I can see that. Plenty of jutsu have that. That's not that uncommon. Having like a a startup effect and a secondary one. The Rasen Shuriken base staff looks as if it's just, destructive damage. But as Kakashi said, it detects at the cellular level, blah, 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 science and shit.
Well, that's not what I mean, though. I don't mean like it's two effects. Obviously, this has two effects, as the literal damage and then the internal damage. But what I mean is, does it have two activations, or does it just like he activates it and only when it hits does it do like the big swirls around his body thing that it always does? Like, is he activating it? Like, so to put it one way, we know he has to have his feet on the ground to absorb the centrifugal forces, blah, blah, blah. But does he like do that and then when he hits them, do it again? Or does he just do it the first time and this is how it looks when it hits them? Because when he does it to Hidari, he's just standing there. There's no swirls until he hits Hidari. Same thing with Jura. It's not until like he's charged up for a while. But then with Code, he instantly has some swirls, and then he gets more swirls the second time. I feel like he just depicted the jutsu differently with Code, to be honest. But
I think it's more so that since he kept it at its center, Code pressing the attack on him is what kind of started the effect of it. Because at that point, he wasn't trying to kill Code. Obviously, we know that. This is probably a very weak Rasengan Uzuhiko, since he literally said, "I'll show you it." Stopped for a second and then immediately started walking, and the jutsu activates around him. So what I was thinking is, because think about it, Jura and Hidari, neither of those cases did those people attack Boruto nor Rasengan Uzuhiko was at a charge he deemed adequate. The jutsu at that point wasn't fully activated, whereas Code pressed him. Even when Boruto hit, like I said, Jura, he teleported behind him afterwards and followed up the attack that way. So to me, I think it's like if you get in the area, you get caught in that like the slowing vertigo-ish effect of it. And once you get hit with it, that's when the permanence of the Rasengan not stopping, the effects continuously hitting you. I think that's when it takes place.
But here's the weird thing. So like we know from the way it looks when Boruto actually hits Code with it, and when he hits Jura with it, when he hits Hidari with it, there's not like swirls floating around Code, Hidari, or Jura when they're actually hit by the jutsu. It's like inside them. Jura expels it from his body. But when Boruto did the arm thing to Code, it wasn't inside his arm, it was outside of his arm, and it stayed outside of his arm. The effect is clearly when it's inside you, because Jura had to push it out of himself to undo it. So
that could just be the permanence effect. That could just be the permanence effect of it. Like you get in the AoE, you start getting slowed down by it. That's what we could see. I mean, that's what's happening to Code here. It looks like he got in the AoE. Now he's starting to get some weird effects on him. Whereas the others, again, they didn't press him. So I feel like that's a little different.
Boruto never did this to them either. But like
exactly. Well, they didn't attack him.
But again, is this so? If you were to be as specific as possible. What effects do you think Code is suffering from right now because his arm has the thing?
I think the Rasengan Uzuhiko is throwing off his... How do I explain this well? Okay. I would describe it as this. Code is experiencing the radiation effects of the Rasengan Uzuhiko that Boruto is currently charging up. Like the
what do you think that manifests as for him? It's what are the symptoms of that?
The slight the fact that he's kind of off in his aim. He thinks Boruto's dodging. Boruto hasn't moved. It's a little semblance of the vertigo. Because that's kind of foreshadowing, right? It's like, oh, why am I off? Why can't I hit him? Blah blah blah. And all of a sudden, oh wait, Rasengan Uzuhiko. Now I'm cooked.
Well, there are a couple things there. One is Boruto could be moving, but via flying Raijin. But ignoring that for a moment.
What? In that panel right there, you're seeing?
Yeah, he could just be teleporting each time he dodges them.
I mean, I guess.
Does he need to do the hand sign?
He has to. He's not.
He doesn't do the hand sign. He only does the hand sign for the long range, super long range one though. He does it without hand signs all the time.
Did he do it versus Jura?
I'll give you that. Did
he do it versus Jura?
Heck, he did do it against Jura too.
He did it against He did it against Mitsuki, did it against Jura, did it against Code. He's done it plenty of times where he just doesn't use the hand sign.
Where he doesn't, because I'm thinking he did do it.
He doesn't always do the hand signs.
He doesn't, yeah.
So it just sounds like it's inconsistent.
That is, yeah.
Well, no, but it could just be the longer the distance, the more hand sign.
And I was talking about
ones you might not need hand signs.
And I was talking about for shorter distances. It's inconsistent.
Well, we have to. Okay, let's just go through, I guess, all the times that we know for sure. So
I just want to point out here he's not using it. I think that's pretty. It's pretty clear right now. He is not using flying rock because I think he says later on, "I haven't moved at all." Blah 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 blah. Wait, hold up. Go to the next page. The next couple. 1 second. Quit moving around. Go again. Keep going. Wait, go until there's dialogue. How's that?
Just read Code's dialogue from before.
Rasengan, Uzuhiko. I'm surprised. I didn't expect you to still be standing. That's a lie. Keep going.
It is a lie. I agree.
All the spinning. What did you do? He did not. You're right. He didn't flipping say that. What? I could have sworn he said he had not moved. Just like how.
Go back to what Code was saying, though. Go back a few pages.
Quit moving, yeah. Boruto doesn't say he's not moving.
The bottom left. What's going on? His movements are way beyond a simple dodging, nor is it genjutsu or clones. This is... So the question is it, this is me missing, or is it, this is teleportation? Those would be the only two possible answers.
The only two possible answers, Kamui, you can't think of a other possibility?
Well, what's a reasonable one?
This is strange.
That's not...
okay. But I meant in terms of things that would actually be what he's doing. But that is funny.
I guess I can't. Yeah, Boruto doesn't say he's not moving here, so I can't. Yeah, that'd be headcanon. Oh, that's crap, dude. But okay, I think that it's... He may not straight up say he's not moving, but I think it's pretty clear he ain't teleporting away. But he is saying nah. I gotta go back. I swear I read something about him saying his movements are off.
I agree. It would be ridiculous for him to be using Flying Raijin, wasting his chakra for absolutely no reason. Especially with the explanation that we get for Flying Raijin, which never has made sense, but especially when it makes sense here.
And also think of the fact of this, the first time we see him using Flying Raijin, actually see him perform it, granted it is to a very far distance. They kind of make a big deal of it, but obviously that can't be the first time he used it because he teleported. Well, we can assume he teleported to Code? Or did he has that ever been decided if that was a teleportation or if he I don't know, just
never been
down
confirmed.
On him?
I think he teleported to the Toad on Code that was probably pre-planted or something, but
if that's the case, he would have just teleported to Code's world, though. And this whole thing would have been...
well, I think it's stupid in general that he waited for him to, come here, but yeah.
Yeah.
In general, he could have just planned for Code to find him sooner. He could have just made it up. He could have screamed to the world, Code, here I am. Could have left clues for him. He could have done a lot of things.
Left clues for him.
Left clues.
He's doing it with Matsuri and Ryu. Putting the Toad on the ground. Could have done it for Code.
That's not necessarily wrong. I don't think that's... I've heard worse takes.
What did Matsuri's trees tell her? Did Matsuri's trees tell her where the Toad is or something? It's possible.
I don't know. Maybe.
So how is Code gonna know where a random dead Toad is?
all Boruto needs to do is have Koji watch where Code's gonna be tomorrow and just go put a Toad there.
But again, it's possible that he just can't see that.
Well, I think it's pretty clear.
Sometimes if Code has a high... first of all, he can just try every day for a month. He's bound to get it right a lot of the times.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not wrong. It is kind of strange that... Yeah, that doesn't really make too much sense. How does that work? Okay, we're getting off topic, though. My point, we're talking about first, and more importantly than anything, how Boruto takes out Kawaki. I'm still saying that he can't just, Rasengan Uzuhiko, avoid it. I don't think that's a good enough answer. I need better than
Real quick on this, I don't think Boruto's teleporting. Again, I think that'd just be a complete waste of chakra for absolutely no reason. Based on this, if he was teleporting, I would think the reaction would be before he strikes rather than after. Boruto isn't behind Code here. He's to the right of Code. And so that tells me Code just missed. So I think when he put it on his arm,
caused him to miss. In the words, like Tenten, remember her? Yeah, hold up, that's relevance. Tenten was stated by Mike Guy, a credible source who knows her abilities, that she never misses a shot. When she clearly threw those no, hear me out. When she clearly threw those kunai at Tamari, he said the only way it would be possible is something made her miss. This is a perfect example of that.
Well, nobody's ever set Code as perfect day.
Yeah, so to me, it seems like he can seemingly see Uzuhiko. What is this thing coiling around my arm? He could be talking about a thing that he can't see but can feel it coiling around his arm. That's still a possibility, so it's really equal interpretation. But either way, I'm already halfway there. We just don't have an explanation for what this meant yet, but whatever.
Yeah, especially since, like, but so, like, what I was gonna say, though, is, like, hypothetically, the whole halfway there thing could just be, I mean, let's just go with that for a moment. What could that be? There's, I guess, two options I thought of off the top of my head would be either this is him, like, essentially giving the warning, like, hey, this is just a hint as to what's gonna happen to you, buddy, before doing the real thing, just to see if Code will give up sooner. Or two, Code attacked him, and he wasn't done charging up what he needed, so he did this, and now he's trying to charge up more.
Oh, just to, like, stall type shit?
Yeah, and then Code's missing until he charged up enough to fully dosify Code.
Well, I do think
probably one of those two. But then I'm asking, why not do that to Hidari, bro? Instead of hitting him with the Rasengan, hit him with the mini Uzuhiko, get Hidari to, like, miss Sarada when he tries to grab her. Plenty of time to charge it up. Same with Jura. Instead of just mini Uzuhiko him at the back, enough to where he doesn't notice anything's wrong yet. And then stall and charge up more of an Uzuhiko. Like,
that relies on them coming to him. And when someone like Jura, I don't know about Hidari, but Jura is obviously physically stronger than Boruto, so there's more risk with the whole bait like he did with Code. Because
I don't know. I don't think they need to come to him. I think if he just teleports to them the same way he did the Jura for the Rasengan and Rasengan Uzuhiko, just do the same thing and just touch him.
Just hit him at that point then, if he's right there.
Well, his Rasengan did nothing. Make him dizzy at least. Well, I mean, King of Kiss, do we at least agree he should have just chopped his head off with the sword, since the Jura's sword level, apparently?
Of course. Like, what is that? Yeah. Or instead of this whole this weird, okay, I got a growing suspicion. I won't call it a theory. It's a suspicion because I got none to basis off of. I think that Boruto is trying to play some, like, 4D chess here where he needs someone else. Like he can't be the one to defeat Jura for some reason. Because the way he's fighting him does not make sense. You're absolutely right. Cut off the dude's head. Try something like that. Yeah. Blow up his body. I mean, hell, if you know that it's going to take destroying their body, then, and you're not going to have enough time to get a Rasengan Uzuhiko fully charged. There's no way that Rasengan Uzuhiko used against Jura was as strong as one as Hidari. It just wasn't.
No. It didn't have enough swirls to compare.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's no time. He was clearly going for that, the long-term effect. He hits him with that. Hopefully Jura retreats. But you're right. Why not cut off his head? Or something like that. Maybe he could just regenerate it. I don't know.
Instead of talking to Jura about Uzuhiko, just cut off his head while he's on the ground.
I don't think cutting off his head really is going to do anything from what we've seen from Kawaki stabbing it, so it doesn't seem like there's a brain or organ.
No,
but he didn't know that.
It's not that it's going to kill him, it's that he won't be able to see.
Also,
then once he chops off his head, he can chop him into 50 pieces like Matsuri and kill him that way.
Yeah, that's assuming that you destroy his Rinnegan, and or if his Rinnegan is connected quote unquote to his body, or if you could just see regardless through his Rinnegan if his head's on the ground disconnected from his body.
Okay, then chop him into 50 pieces like you did with Matsuri with one slice.
Well, he'd have to be.
I mean, it doesn't matter how he dices the cake. The point is he's doing it wrong.
It's also possible that Jura let him cut his leg off, whereas if he was aiming for, like, the neck, similar to Sasuke trying to stab Jigen, Jura just wouldn't have let it happen.
He was like, nice move, buddy. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Sure.
That's what I'm referencing, as a matter of fact.
But if we're talking about, like, just strength, I guess, and like winning, I just don't. There's no universe now, especially now that okay, Boruto cooked Kawaki with a punch when Kawaki had regeneration. And it's not like he just ate that.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. Yeah, no.
That's why it's bad writing, King of Chaos. Because he had zero brutal defenses and regenerate. He's on the ground and writhing in pain. So now if Boruto were to punch Kawaki, he should explode, right? And it's probably not going to happen.
I mean, I'm just saying that like his defensive capabilities are down. Those are his words.
We'll have to see how it
So
plays out.
I'm just saying, like it would make more sense. I mean, he's squishier. Yeah, he's got more destructive capabilities, but like as far as that goes, I would argue that he's always had more, I guess, raw damage output than Boruto.
Well,
I mean,
as a
think of it this
matter of
way.
fact, what if that means he's going to be able to tank a punch easier? Because think about it, Kamui. When something's like rigid and then you press it, like that's going to be more of a shell shock. Whereas if it's like squishy, that's like more surface area, more like absorption with the pressure or what. Like
that
that's
would be
why
the
they make
worst
cars.
writing ever if they do that.
They make cars with that in mind, Kamui. So when you crash a car, you survive.
What?
Yeah, the problem is, though, is he going to be squishy or is he going to be like thin glass, plastic? Like...
Nah, I definitely
Either
don't
way, that would be such ass writing after all the things they've said.
He's stronger with his defense now. At this point, I'm down for it. I want to see them do it just to say they did it.
Be like, oh, he's. I mean, I'm just saying. He told him forget all the defensive capabilities, all offense. I don't know. And yes, he did pull up on Jura. His pull up game was. I mean, he copied Boruto's entire flow with that. In my opinion, he literally pulled up in the same way Boruto pulled up on Code. But hey, we ain't tripping about that, right? I'm more so saying that. I don't know.
My
I don't
guess
see
is
how
that Kawaki's plan is presumably he's faster now, presumably. So his plan is to just not get hit via being faster, having Sukuna Hikona to shrink, and arguably, this is one I both like and dislike, but using his ninja tech offense as shield, so when he makes his big hand, that's part of his offense, so if he just puts it in front of him, does that amp his defense by default?
No!
Like, it's just like a way around it, but like...
It's like, oh yeah, the best defense is a good offense. As long as I beat him before he kills me, no problem.
Well, but exactly. So if we're going to say... First, I think that just right there, that proves that it wasn't 100% defense before, maybe 80-20, because he can still use his scientific ninja tech for offense. So now... I'm assuming it's not going to be 100% offense, 0% defense for pretty much the same reason. Like, I don't think...
I mean...
First of all, I don't even think Amado would do that.
I agree with you, Woody, but technically, taking the dialogue at face value...
Plus, I mean...
What dialogue? Kawaki? Amado doesn't have to do that.
I mean, sure, if we're going to assume that he didn't do it, then fine.
No, well, I mean,
like,
yeah, you're right.
There's no reason not to.
But he said to Kawaki, the beginning of this, you're right, Kawaki. In order to fight the Shinju, I would need to set you to a fully offensive form. He didn't want to yet, till Amado told Kawaki did the karma, but they both said they were going to do that when they adjusted him. So,
well, they didn't say they were going to. They also didn't adjust them yet.
I mean, I guess he didn't. I guess he said he would need to. I think that. Oh, we can split hairs on it, but I think that that's pretty much implying that Amado has the intention of, honoring his request. I think so, at least. I think that's a pretty.
They both said it. I mean, I agree. It doesn't have to be the case, but given the things Ikimoto has done, I feel like that's just him telling us, like, this is the plan.
But no, I
but again, you have Momoshika's prophecy, so.
So do you guys actually think that Kawaki beats Boruto? Like they go head to head right now? Like, because whenever I hear him talk about Boruto, you do this and I'll kill you right now. I'm just like, bro is yapping. Like, what?
I mean, it really just depends. We'd have to we just have to see. So we really just need to see how Kawaki actually does and stuff in terms of how fast he is and so on. If he has new abilities or things he's doing.
We've seen his speed.
My problem is he shouldn't be stronger because no matter what they say about his defensive powers being god tier, they sucked. So he shouldn't get much of an amp.
That is crazy.
They did though. Like Kawaki's unconscious waking up speed is canonically slower than Boruto's without even having the healing powers that Kawaki had. Boruto just
wrong. You're not wrong.
And then Kawaki, his defenses are so strong that he's on the ground growling in pain over Boruto's not trying punch. It's like he doesn't have strong defense. If he was limited in the code arc, if he was limited by the code arc, that means his limited offense was enough to knock him out, despite the defense being the stronger thing. So
thank you, Kamui, for saying that. Because King of Chaos, when do you think that Kawaki got his limiters on?
I'm gonna say in between the conversation he had with like in between that hospital scene, right? Hold up.
Which hospital scene?
Yeah, let me think on this actually. I'm gonna say right after he got back with right after he got back from fighting Jura. Yeah, that's when I'm gonna say it happened.
No, not when he got him off. When did he get the limiters on?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
When did Amado?
I think Amado put them on like right after the battle. Because we see no other time it would make sense. And they straight up manifest up seemingly out of nowhere. So like, that's what I would.
Yeah.
I'd put my money on that.
You think he got him in like chapter 8 or 9 or something?
Yeah. Why not?
Well, if that's the case, why would Boruto ever think Kawaki would be useful here?
Hold up. Is that how far back?
Like well, no, it can't be. Well, actually, I don't think it can be because Delta was already gassing up Kawaki's Niramoto regeneration before then.
No. But I'm saying that Kawaki got his limiters put on him pre-time skip, like after the fight with Ishiki. Like right after that's done, he goes to the hospital and everything like that.
Okay,
that's a big difference in an answer there.
Yeah, I did not mean to say Jura. I was wondering.
Okay, that's why I was like, so like chapter 9.
No. I'm talking like right after the Ishiki fight.
So you think when Amado reconstructed Karma and Kawaki, he also put the limiters on him?
Of course,
pre-code arc.
Of course. Okay, the limiters are literally an aspect of the Karma because it's a limiter on Ishiki's his power. That's the limiters placed on. It's not Kawaki's body. They said it's a limit on that power to maximize his regenerative abilities.
So why do you think Kawaki was stronger than ever in the code arc in comparison to pre-limiters?
I mean, Code didn't have his limiters off at that point, did he?
I'm just saying if limited Kawaki is able to just body limited Code, then why wasn't Kawaki just fodderizing Delta, especially Garo?
No, I mean there's layers to how the concept of limiters, right? Because a limiter could just be, the limiter on Code could be so he's just not stronger than, Jigen, like just not stronger than him. Kawaki with 3-4 Doma wheel spikes at that point. I think that's a good indicator as well. Well, no, because he ended up manifesting more of those later.
So was Karma Kawaki just like Jigen level, like before he even went to the Ow arc? Like, why was he just letting Jigen abuse him like that? Why not just beat Jigen up?
Wait, no, because he didn't have. Those are two different Kawakis. One Kawaki is the limiter on him, but he has Ishiki's power, the dormer wheel, the spikes, and all that jazz. The other one is just, Kawaki with the regular Karma. He doesn't have access. Well, I guess he has as much access to Ishiki's power as he organically would at that time.
And he's had Karma for a long time.
That's so granted, obviously in TBV, Kawaki's never pulled up the horn, even as of yet still. That could be by choice. That could be because of limiters. We don't know. But let's just assume it's by choice because he never got there yet. He just never progressed that point. Let's just assume that for a moment. If that's the case, obviously we don't have numbers to quantify the amount of limiting that was done. But hypothetically, Kawaki with his horn out when he's at 80% versus Kawaki at, let's just say, 40%, the limiter ratio, Ishiki's power through that extra 40% might just very much outweigh the limiter on top of having the eye and the hacks abilities that come with it. So he might, for that reason, still be stronger than ever because it's that just is a big amp at the end of the day that he never had previously.
Code didn't see it, it's not like Code just walked in there fresh either. He was fighting, toying around, whatever we're going to call it. Boruto was throwing mediocre hands. They weren't bad hands.
But Kamui,
boxing him a little.
That Kawaki was relative, if not keeping up with faster than Borushiki outside of the eye. If that's the case, why didn't Karma Kawaki fodderize Boro?
Well, so again, though, so I'm gonna bring up two things, but one is that Kawaki against Boro doesn't have the horn state. So again, the difference of the basically horn. Okay, so combo 2 is horn, combo 1's no horn, we'll say. The difference between combo 2 and 1 might be greater than the difference of limiters versus no limiters. That is a possibility. The second possibility is one I did make a whole video on this topic, addressing basically every possibility, but actually examining in both the anime and the manga, actually examining the amount of damage caused by Kawaki's same chakra blast in the Garo versus Code instance. Kawaki's chakra blast versus Code in Combo 1 objectively does way more damage to the entire environment than his Code arc one, which could suggest that his offense was limited in the Code arc compared to the times the Garo fight, which then you have to ask, okay, why isn't he doing this stuff against Boro? Which could either mean Kawaki was limited right at the very moment he shut down after the Garo fight, or he just accessed a lot of power that he never re-accessed. Again, that's the other possibility, but it is possible the limiters did go on right after the Garo fight. That is possible, and it would explain the ridiculous chakra blast feat difference. And then that would answer your question about Boro and everyone else.
I think we do get a general idea of how strong Karma 1 versus Karma 2 makes a user just based on what we've seen. If you want to count Borushiki, fine. If not, then fine, because it's Momoshiki. But Jigen we do see, and we see a lot of other things randomly as well. Even Kawaki, we just got a decent amount to pull from. I'm gonna say it's ridiculous if that's overcoming the limiters, because that just tells me the limiters weren't all that impressive to begin with.
Yeah, to some extent I agree, to some extent I disagree, because the difference between Karma 1 and 2 is pretty huge from what we have seen. You look at
what
Boruto,
I'm saying,
Boruto's quote-unquote true essence form that's not a form, I would consider that the absolute minimum of V2. Basically, he's at 50% in the horns, it's grown 1 millimeter, you can't see it. That's why I would consider that, because
Kamui.
Boruto's karma pattern changes when he gets to V2. It's the same as the Borushiki one. In that form, it changes to that one. So that's his V2, the beginning of it. Then Borushiki would be 80%.
So I'm not saying the V2 amp. I agree it's very powerful, monstrously so. I'm saying the difference between base to V1 and then the difference between V1 to V2.
Okay, but what I'm trying to get at is that I'm saying within V2, there is a huge difference between Borushiki and the quote-unquote true essence Boruto. That's within the same. That's not even V1. That's in V2. That much of a difference. So V1's only going to get greater than that. It's pretty darn huge of a difference. And then the limiters, the problem is we don't have numbers, but considering how big that difference is, if the limiters were even half that, that's still a pretty big limit.
Yeah, because it can also be a percentage. It could be the limiters take from both his body, as a a scientific ninja tool, as well as the karma's power. I still think that it's literally all Ishiki's, Ishiki's power, because he said that he gave him full access to his offensive arsenal, but I could be wrong. So
Kamui, let's make a graph real quick. Our favorite thing to do. So this is 100% power up here, okay? I'll do P for reference. So this would just be linear growth or whatever with normal. So then
if Kawaki actually trained.
So this is going to be I guess base and then Karma 1 and then Karma 2, and this will just this and this just for comparison. So 100% power at Karma V2, that makes sense. So how do you view it? Do you think it's linear? Do you think it's more along the lines of something like this? Or do you think it's more along the lines of something like this?
So I don't think you're going to like my answer, because I don't think the answer makes sense in the first place. Because it should be. I think it should be the farthest to the left one, the asymptotically down one. It should be that. but I don't think it is.
Okay.
So I think it's either the one all the way to the right, or it's some weird stage thing to where it's linear up until 50%, and then it just jumps up 50 points and then goes linear again.
Which
doesn't make sense. I agree, makes no sense. But based off the way it's displayed, it seems like it's one. So go ahead and draw the other one real quick. So draw like a straight line. So you see your black line, make it a little bit less upwards than that. So in between the blue and black ones, just make it like red. No, that's not what I meant.
I know, hang on. I was just drawing a line to have one there. It's like,
But you don't want the other side of it, just up until the midpoint. No, just delete. Okay, you have 2 points. Delete the right side of this, but the thing to the right, yeah, okay, just delete that. Now make it less steep though, so it's in between the blue and the black.
Here, okay, we'll just reset. Okay, so what's the line?
Just make a straight line. Make it less steep though, just to make this easy. Okay, now I want you to make another line at the same angle, but it starts higher. So just jump up like there, yeah.
So
okay,
like
now draw your black line in the middle, up and down. Yeah, that works too.
Doesn't need to be black, but that's okay.
It doesn't matter. Okay, so this is another possibility to where it's linear, but when you go from V1 to V2, it just has this jump by default. Kind of like how you look at it this way with like the V1 versus V2 Jinchuriki cloaks. Like you look at like B, it seems like each tail is probably linear for him, but then when he enters V2, it just jumps up. And then it does the same linear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tails. And I think it might be similar for the karma. Because otherwise, again, it should be, because it's additive, it's overlaying your body, so it's additive power. Because of that, 30% compared to early Boruto is a huge deal. Whereas as you get higher and higher, that difference shouldn't be as noticeable. But for whatever reason, it seems to be even higherly noticeable, which would be asymptotically going upwards, exponential, but that doesn't make sense for additive. So this is the only way to explain it. That's additive and kind of fits what they're doing.
I have another explanation.
What about Karma State 3? Are we not going to include that?
It would just be like when they're fully resurrected, I would say.
No. Because Code said that they're, there's regular karma. No.
Essence is nonsense. It's nonsense.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not nonsense. It's not nonsense. Boruto's hands did improve when he was using karma.
No, not his fighting skill. He just got faster.
That's what you're capping. It's stated in the narrative, and y'all love that narrative word. It was stated in the narrative by Code, a reliable source, a reliable author.
No, he's not reliable. He's just casting up the Otsutsuki.
He was Jigen's #1 glazer, #1
Exactly.
simp.
That's why you can't trust him on this, because he's just gonna make it. Because if you
that means he got all the information.
Two things. Two things. Okay, so one is that just objectively, what Code explained was why you get faster and stronger. So at the end of the day, it is just a faster, stronger. No, that's what he explains. He says, do you know why you get stronger? It's like, well, sure, just the literal karma power helps. But that's not the true reason you get faster and stronger. It's because of the Otsutsuki experience, blah, blah, blah. But what they say isn't that you will be you don't see them being more skilled. They just are faster and stronger. He's just explaining why. But the other thing is that Code is a glazer, bro. The last thing he wants to do is attribute it to karma when he can attribute it to Ishiki's amazing battle.
I'm gonna expose this as a true fraud allegation, true unfact, whatever the opposite of a fact is, cap, no corn. Because
Code's capping.
No. I can prove that he's telling me that you're capping, Kamui-kun.
Okay. If that's the case, tell me how Code fights like Ishiki, because he has his battle experience, and he's a seasoned warrior. He's an expert at it. So show me what Code does that shows Ishiki.
He beats a trained tuning, quote, maybe Jonin level combatant in hand-to-hand combat. After beating Kawaki, a brawler who's been modified and genetically enhanced with his body. So sure. Yeah, karma, you can include that, but I don't even know how much he was using karma against Kawaki. But I don't think he used his karma until Boruto came out. And he's like, the true essence. And here's why. Here's why. And this is a true fact that you can't even forget. Kawaki, a non-ninja, was able to pull off a one-handed joint technique after getting his karma stage 2 activated, getting the karma activated. He was able to use Boruto's hand in the same way that Sasuke, a fire style expert, a master at the point, did to Naruto in the Ninja Valley. Same way Zabuza did that.
You want to know what's even crazier than that, King Chaos?
One-handed hand seals are considered the pinnacle of ninjutsu.
So you know what's crazier about that though, King Chaos? Earlier on, when Kawaki didn't have karma, he didn't use Boruto's hand to make a hand sign. He just straight up did a one-handed hand sign, or in the anime, he used the broken ninja tech arm. That's more impressive. Either case.
No, it's not.
So he actually got less skilled based on this feat.
Oh, you're completely misinterpreting that. He had to use the hand at that point. That proves my point more. If he
no, because in the manga he just does a one-handed hand sign. No, he doesn't use the cross.
Okay, hold up. We literally could not see like all. Is he supposed to like Ikimoto's supposed to just show him like holding it up? No, he held on to that.
Yeah, the anime did it. Why can't Ikimoto?
He got all that damn time.
Well, Kamui, I have a funny argument for you. A funny argument for you, Kamui. What is ninja versus Otsutsuki? It's the shinobi way versus power. So if you get the Otsutsuki's battle experience, wouldn't that just technically nerf a ninja?
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
What? No, you're literally getting... Okay, so first off...
narratively...
No.
Narratively nerfs them.
Otsutsuki used Shinjutsu, not Jutsu. The fact that Kawaki was able to do that is even more of a sign. That
Wait, Chaos. If that's the case, how did Kawaki use Otsutsuki battle experience to use a fire style ninjutsu via hand signs? Otsutsuki don't use hand signs. What experience does Ishiki have with hand signs? That just shows you that was just Kawaki being a baller.
Well, no.
Ishiki doesn't use hand signs. He doesn't have experience with that.
Ishiki saw Naruto use hand signs.
And not only has he been watching all their fights for like years, and literally years.
Okay,
like,
Prumi was watching all of their fights.
I mean, the important ones. Naruto versus Sasuke, the Final Valley, Kaguya resurrecting.
Think Jigen was watching?
Yeah, in the same way I think that he was watching, the Kaguya events unfold. I don't think they are all this.
Why didn't he intervene?
That's a whole other can of worms.
If he was literally that, look, I'm fine with you saying he was in hiding all this time, but if he's there watching, why isn't he doing it?
Kamui, to be fair, at the very least, at the very least,
he had the 10 tails there. Just kill everyone while the 10 tails is right.
We can't say he just didn't know. Infinite Tsukuyomi activated. Jigen knew something was happening.
I mean, yeah, I think that's kind of how I look at it. I mean, shit.
Unless you're just gonna say he was in like his other dimension hideout place the whole time.
He'd still know.
I agree. I think he should know.
He just conveniently wasn't there that one
day. No. Here's the thing. Does he beat Kaguya when she's all divine tree amped up like that? Does he take that fight?
Yes.
Does he?
Yeah.
Because Naruto and Sasuke didn't kill her. I mean, isn't she essentially immortal? The whole thing was they couldn't kill her, so they had to seal her, which is effectively killing her. She can't, she's a husk and all that jazz, blah blah blah.
So they she's not killed her, so she's not immortal.
I don't think they killed her in the manga. Remember?
I thought it was canonically dead. She died. She's not immortal.
Yeah, because they trained her chakra.
She was immortal at first.
No, she was alive at first. She never became unimmortal.
I think. Hold up, that's not true. There's plenty of ways you can kill immortal people still too. I mean, there's plenty of ways of doing that.
Because it's the point of being immortal.
Tell that to Hidan, or a reanimation jutsu, or
it's the they're not truly
or
immortal.
Anything.
They're pseudo immortal.
Yeah. But like in that sense, no one is. But what I'm saying is like. Kaguya with the Ten Tails tree chakra fruit does he win that? Plus, let's be honest, I don't know who Naruto and like Sasuke side with during all this shit. I don't think they side with either of them. But I damn sure don't think Kaguya and Jigen link up to beat them. Because guess what? Kaguya doesn't want to be turned into fruit or, a pack. She's going to get cooked. He's going to eat her.
Okay,
she has no incentive to help him.
Low-key, forget about Jigen for a moment. That's actually a mad interesting what if. During I'm not even going to say during. I'm going to say the moment Kaguya resurrects before she wants to go to the lava dimension, blah, blah, blah. She sees Naruto and Sasuke in front of her. She senses Indra and Ashura, or I guess Hagoromo, Hamura chakra, whatever chakra you think she's sensing, doesn't matter. She senses it. She knows it's her children, blah, blah, blah. The moment that happens, Momoshiki and Kinshiki come down. What does Kaguya do?
Is she out?
Kinshiki.
I think she hides. I think she waits. Like she can sense. I think she sees it there. I think she probably just chills on that. Like, you know what? I'm gonna see how this goes. She waits until the forces dwindle themselves down. I mean, she's already been playing the long game, right? Like the whole Black Zetsu thing. She was manipulating Zetsu. He was manipulating Madara. Madara was manipulating Obito. So like, who's to say she does? I say she just waits. The same way she didn't.
What if she just? Do you think she would ever ask Naruto and Sasuke to help her against Momoshiki? Like, would she just pretend to be a nice lady and be like, they've come to destroy this planet?
Well, here's the thing. Like, Hagoromo already explained that she's still a bad guy. And Sasuke at that point wasn't a reasonable dude. He wasn't hearing nothing.
And Hamura explained she wasn't.
Yeah, he explained she wasn't a good guy.
No, Hamura explains that what she did, Hamura understood it.
Sorry, Hagoromo said that?
Hamura.
My bad, not Hamura. Hagoromo. Sorry, I'm talking about the Sage of Six Paths.
Yes.
So like him, he already said that she, my mother's evil, blah blah blah.
Yeah, the guy who didn't understand his mother.
Okay, a lot of people don't understand their mothers.
Okay, and Hamura did.
Well, Mama's boy aside, I still think I think that she would sit that one out. Because I don't feel like there's a reason for her to get involved until.
Well, there could be if she was afraid of Momoshiki and Kinshiki and thought she couldn't win without Naruto and Sasuke.
I mean,
I still feel like she'd let them beat. I still feel like she'd let them beat him down a little bit. I think Naruto and Sasuke still take that fight. I don't think it's easy. I think
they
it's
don't. But either way, well, okay. Well, wait, for this, I feel like it's only fair to assume that Momoshiki and Kinshiki are just like Shippuden level for this case. So.
Well, I mean, even if we scale up to like Boruto season, I don't think Naruto and Sasuke win on their own. I think that Team 7, Kakashi with his, Kamui Sharing, I think they pull it off, or if you don't want to give them that, say Obito, Kakashi, I think collectively, I think that is fair.
With Kakashi's perfect Susanoo involved,
I think they could do that. I don't think that's that unreasonable.
Sure.
Like shit. But I don't think Kaguya interferes there. Or shit, who's to say? Oh, imagine they give him such a hard time after they fuse, though, that they have to use the sealing technique on him, and they don't have it for Kaguya. That would be fucked. that would be some Madara level writing. It's like, oh, thank you for taking away their only weapon, assuming they can only use it once, right? Like, I don't know if they could use it again on people they still have their arms.
Yeah, just how come just give it back to him again? Like,
I don't know. I feel like that would be like, you guys got to keep it. There's a lot going on here. You might need a couple different moons.
So okay.
Yeah, I think they could take that.
So then, okay, we know that Kaguya did everything she did because of her children. What do you think happens if right before Kaguya is about to fight Hagoromo and Hamura together, the fight hasn't started yet, Momoshiki Kinshiki come down at that moment?
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
I think in that case, I think the Otsutsuki and them, I think they do. So I think that Team Sage of Six Paths, Hamura, Hagoromo, and Kaguya, I think they'd have to team up at that point. Because like there's not enough, like Naruto and Sasuke there as reincarnates are pretty powerful, right? We can admit, like, even if we don't say they don't win, they don't get washed. Right? I don't think they get washed. So having them there is helpful. But like 2 versus, like, I don't know. You get Kakashi, you get Sasuke, you get Obito, you get Sakura versus just those guys. I don't think they win that fight.
Well, to be fair, Teen Haguro and Hamura just beat Kaguya without Kakashi and Obito and Sakura. So
yeah, but like, what about? I'm talking about like them beating Momoshiki and Kinshiki. I don't know if they win that one.
Who knows? But what I will say is, from the perspective of Kaguya and Haguro and Hamura, I think they would want to team up because Kaguya be like, this is the thing I was telling you guys about. They're right there. And Haguro and Hamura be like, Mother, let's team up and beat them so then you won't have to use Infinite Tsukuyomi anymore. That's going to be their ideas. No matter what, they're going to want to team up.
Okay. Because I think that's really interesting, considering Kaguya's calling him so dreadful. Like, just to spite Kaguya, do you think Momoshiki Kinshiki would specifically target Haguro Hamura right in front of Kaguya?
Oh, absolutely.
That'd be cool. Ugh. Like, I could imagine, like, they kill Hamura, Hagoromo, and Kaguya, get, like, a mother-child amp boost or something.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing with the shinobi, bonds and all that shit, that could happen. I don't think that's, the craziest take in the world.
Okay, so let's just say Hagoromo, Hamura, Kaguya defeat Kinshiki and Momoshiki. Do you think Kaguya just forgives her children for disobeying her or whatever, and they just live happily ever after?
Well, the thing is, Kaguya may or may not have a change in her mindset in general. I mean, there's still Ishiki. She might be worried about him, but then she might just be like, you know what? Let's go battle Ishiki together.
Yeah, let's assume she thinks Ishiki's dead and that there are no other Otsutsuki out there. That's just the whole clan. Let's just assume that.
She may stop doing all the things she was doing then, or she might still do it because she's just become too far gone at that point. It's kind of tough to say.
Yeah, because she's like obsessed with power.
To that point.
How much of her obsession with power is because she ate the chakra fruit and or because she's Otsutsuki, and how much of it is because she was preparing for Momoshiki and Kinshiki?
Exactly. And I think it's tough to say because, well, it kind of depends because in the manga, you would just say it's the chakra fruit. In the anime, it definitely seems like Momoshiki and Kinshiki is a very strong influence. In the Boruto movie, that's definitely a very strong influence. But now, after that point, when you get to like the Kawaki arc and beyond, it feels like Ikimoto is just kind of going with the chakra fruit corrupted her. So we've got 2 parts for each. The Naruto manga and Boruto manga imply chakra fruit. The filler arc of the anime and the Boruto movie and all those arcs imply Momoshiki and Kinshiki. So it's kind of even. I don't know which to go with.
It feels like, at the very least, what I would say, it feels like Kaguya is immortal in the sense that she doesn't age, whereas we know Hagoromo and Hamura does. Considering Kaguya is their mother, she wouldn't want to outlive them when they die at like 70 to 80 years, when she has thousands of more years to live.
She's obsessed with immortality.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm saying is I think she's going to try and cultivate more divine tree fruits or whatever just to feed to Hagoromo and Hamura so they stop aging, so they can all just live immortality together.
I don't think Otsutsuki have that same type of familiar, like ties, I guess. Is that the right word for it? Like, they don't seem to like really give too much of a damn about each other. I mean, they eat each other.
Kaguya did. She's did all that for her children, seemingly. I also think that she wouldn't care about the people of Earth. I do think, just like all the other Otsutsuki, she probably sees them as inferior creatures. Oh, but she hooked up with Tenji. I don't care. Okay? So I'm not going to count that as, oh, she's just going to be chill. I also think that,
in the anime, it seemed like she actually liked him.
I don't know about that. I think she was way more preoccupied with other matters. I mean, the fact that she left him in the Infinite Tsukuyomi, she didn't even bother freeing him. So.
Well, yeah, because Tenji betrayed her because he didn't know better, but still.
Okay. Anyways, I don't think it's very much implied that she liked him. Anyways, I do think she wants to be like the princess of Earth or whatever, and she wants to continue ruling with the strict monarchy or whatever. Is it monarchy if it's a woman? I feel like that's a man word.
Monarchy is a king. You could say
oligarchy. Yeah, patriarchy versus matriarchy.
Yeah, she wants to live in a matriarchy. I don't know, a single matriarchy, whatever the word is.
I don't think she does, though, because again, the Otsutsuki, the whole thing is like they live immortal, reincarnate. I don't think they have familiar ties. I mean, Kinshiki was Momoshiki's guardian? Is that what he called him or some shit like that? I don't think that means that he's his dad, But like, if he was, I wouldn't be that
he definitely
shocked by
treated Momoshiki like he was. He'll let Momoshiki eat him, and we're gonna say they don't care about one another.
Yeah, that's the whole thing is with the karma. Doesn't that imply like he thought he was gonna be able to come back, or that he will because of the karma?
If he had a karma on someone,
who's saying that? I mean, their whole thing seems to be.
The way that he says it, though, implies that, like, this is him giving up his life. Because he said, like, this is what my guardian once did for me. He wouldn't need to give that whole last speech, and they would just do this all the time with each other if he just had karma vessels handy.
And let's be for real. Let's be so for real. Even if he has a karma on someone else, we're never gonna know. They will never bring him back into the story.
Yeah. Especially since when Kishimoto wrote that, karma wasn't in mind. He was just sacrificing himself. So... But yeah, I agree. They're not. I mean, I'll be honest, I will probably be that 0.1% of the population who would be so hyped if Kinshiki returned. I loved watching him fight. He doesn't have the craziest abilities, but it was freaking cool watching him just go ham with his axe and shit.
Summoning weapon projection. That was pretty. He was cool, man. He was badass. No hate on the guy. I don't think it's impossible we see him again. Honestly. I don't think it's impossible. I'd say the odds are probably like 12%, but I don't think that.
I think it's less than that. But okay, I got a question for you. Okay, so obviously I'm not going to count Momoshiki because he's technically already there. Between Kaguya, Ishiki, Kinshiki, and Urashiki, what order of likeliness do you think each of them are for returning to the story? Whether it's because they never actually died or they come back to life or whatever the situation
Say the people
is.
Again one more time.
Kaguya, Ishiki, Kinshiki, and Urashiki. Well, what do you think the ranking in terms of most to least likely is? And if you have to give a percentage of likeliness for each.
Kinshiki least likely, probably like 2%.
Urashiki's not real, so I'm gonna say 0.
Urashiki's both the most and least likely, in my opinion.
Oh, really? Okay, interesting.
Urashiki is not real, so.
But that's the thing, because he's anime only, which gives him reason to be the least likely. But because he's anime only, and he has a death that technically works for omnipotence, he's also the easiest to just incorporate for the manga. The manga likes to ignore the anime anyway, so...
Oh, I thought you were talking about for the anime specifically.
Nope, I meant for the manga. Well, for both. How about that?
Okay, sure. Yeah, so I'm going to say Kinshiki like 2%. I'm going to say Urashiki is in third place at like maybe 8%. Oh, it's a random person. I don't know, just throwing out random percentages. Doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I'm gonna say she's a 2%.
I think Ishiki's the most likely.
I think Kaguya and Ishiki are both high up there, above 50% for both of them.
Ishiki's higher. I don't know about 50.
Ishiki's the most likely, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely say.
I give Ishiki about.
I would love it if all 4 of them could come back.
Ishiki's the most relevant, but I think that Kaguya is the most probable.
But she's dead, remember? You guys said it. She's dead, literally dead.
You said come back. You said come back. Okay, Ishiki's dead too.
But like you said, though, even as a result of maybe they weren't really dead. I don't know, man. I'm saying that Moon Tech. We find out like 2 years from now, Boruto 3B, Burrito 3B Vortex, Burrito 3-winged Cyclone. That's what it'll be. 3-winged Cyclone.
Teaks.
Burrito 3-winged Cyclone. We could see, we see her coming back. It's like, actually, she was never dead. Because Otsutsuki, they become a husk afterwards, and blah, 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 blah. Isn't that the whole reason that they threw Black Zetsu in the moon with her, too, to make sure he didn't come back and resurrect her again?
Yes.
It's funny you say that. Did I make a podcast topic on this, or did I just think about it not right? Hold on. Because...
I hate when
okay, no, okay. Go to Naruto topics.
Working on it. When I go there, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. But where do I go?
Just scroll up slightly. It's not that far up. Okay, that's too far.
Heads up, 20-minute timer for chaos, since Sun's gonna be ready for his food.
Okay.
Down.
And I'll be a boomer and get rest after.
Okay. Down.
No, not that. Okay.
Down. There's 2 related ones, but this is the most related. Okay, so
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
If you guys remember,
oh yeah,
when after Casey and Naruto starts showing up everywhere, Naruto and Chojuro ultimately kind of beat Black Zetsu when he's fighting the Mizukage and all that. And Chojuro like stabs Black Zetsu with his sword Hiramekarai. So the question is, and then we see later on in the flashback of when Black Zetsu returns to do any rebirth with Obito, there's a flashback of him talking to Madara as he like turns the goo and like escapes. However, he only does that from his legs half, which isn't the part that Chojuro's stabbing with the sword, because he was chopped in half first. So the question is, was the upper half of Black Zetsu always stuck with Chojuro for the rest of the war, meaning everything he does later on is only half of him, or did Chojuro eventually just leave that spot with his sword, allowing the rest of Black Zetsu to escape? Or a third option, did Chojuro leave his sword behind, keeping it pinning Black Zetsu, so Black Zetsu's still there? In other words,
left that thing.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So it's probably not that one. So, in other words, in theory, could Black Zetsu have pretended to be dead and tricked Chojuro and still be alive somewhere? Kishimoto obviously forgot about this half, but still, Ikimoto could hypothetically remember him, even though he doesn't remember.
If they use it later, right? Isn't that how it works? If they pick it up later, then it wasn't forgotten. That's what happens in One Piece.
It could have been forgotten by Kishimoto and just remembered by Ikimoto, because Kishimoto never came back to it.
I mean, I guess so. In that regard, he would never be able to say, "Oh, I didn't forget about it." Well, I mean, he can't prove he didn't forget about it. Maybe he didn't forget.
But then, why did he not address it in Naruto?
Who's to say?
Why not have Naruto go run and go seal him away real quick?
Because he was waiting for Boruto. He's waiting for Black Zetsu to strike and have that
such
comeback.
Nonsense.
I'm serious. No, I'm not. That'd be ridiculous. I think it's more likely that that part of him just died off and his essence was carried on into him in the battlefield with the one we saw. I don't think he's coming back. I think they bring back secondary villains, like somebody's will. Like that's just kind of corny. Like we could,
Well, no, but the thing with that would be just a way to get Kaguya back in that case. If that half of Black Zetsu is just in hiding, that could be how they get Kaguya.
There's a billion ways you can get Kaguya back with better writing.
Well, technically, this is arguably the best writing because it's addressing an unresolved plot point.
I suppose. I mean, we that's only if you consider his whole being to be all like. I don't know. Do we really think his whole body is like needed for that tech? I mean, he could. I really think it's like a snake.
No, because half of his body left to go revive Kaguya, while the other half stayed with Chojuro. So he only
but the half that stayed, I don't think that it was like the half I don't think that was alive.
That was his upper body half. If anything, that's the half to have.
Yeah, but like that doesn't matter. Boro got his whole torso blown out, and they're like, well, with the brain, you can do, I can move my vital core or whatever. I mean, Black Zetsu's not a human. We don't know how his body works.
Yeah, I think
he might just have a chakra center as well. I think it's possible. I mean, I think it's likelier that way. Like his essence was left in that half, so anything else after that was just kind of like just a husk. Plus, I mean, I think throwing him in there is pretty symbolic. Otherwise, they would have they would have just killed him, right?
Well, I agree.
He goes there, unseals them.
I agree. Sealing him in Chibaku Tensei was the best thing they could do. The problem is, half of him is with Choji.
I think that
unresolved.
Super.
You know what they could have done? Oodie would love this. This could have been a way to resolve it. So Naruto seals the half that he does in Chibaku Tensei. So then what happens to the other half? Well, Oodie will love this because while False Gun at the end of Naruto there is Tenten getting the 6th path sealing weapons. So Tenten could have just sealed the other, like, okay, this would be both. Quest? This would be pretty goofy though. At the end, so Black Zetsu comes back, like the other half, and he's like, it's finally I'm able to do my plan or whatever, and then Tenten just seals him.
Stand ready for my arrival, worm. Pulls up with all the stuff.
So like after they've like narratively defeated him, the other half pulls up, and then Tenten seals him with the pot. Now you've addressed Tenten and Black Zetsu's half.
Yeah, and the Sage of 6 paths of weapons that she just keeps in her shop casually. Like, imagine keeping all. I still find it crazy that she keeps them at the shop.
She's trying to
even
sell
now, like you can't use those against any of these Otsutsuki. Can't steal anybody with like, you know that what you call it. I also think that the Konoha 11 getting hoed by Ishiki, like in that way, just makes no sense to me. Because we didn't get any of the real
problem
killers.
isn't them losing; it's the fact that like Choji's not using butterfly mode, Lee's not using the gates, and Kiba's not doing Nanbi's clone and stuff.
Nothing. Like come on, bro.
See, Kamui, if they do that, then I have absolutely no reason to think that Kawaki did get his limiters off.
Oh, okay, I get what you mean.
What do you mean?
It's like by comparison, it's like, oh, if they do so well against him, it's like, well, Kawaki doesn't look nearly as impressive, right? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is when he fought Jura like a couple chapters ago, I don't think him using Karma really did anything.
I mean, yeah, because he's limited. But like, the fact, but at least then, though, again, at least he tried to use Karma at the very least. Choji didn't try to start activating butterfly mode. No, he just jumped in.
Choji was defeated before he got the chance to fight.
Ever.
He just didn't get the chance to fight.
Who? Choji?
All of them, yeah. Ishiki defeated them before they got to fight.
They Ishiki didn't attack them. He let them attack him. So they could have easily just most of their power-ups, bro, are literally instant.
So if Naruto and Sasuke insta lost to Jigen, are we just gonna say that Naruto and Sasuke were nerfed?
Depends.
I don't say they were nerfed. I don't say they were nerfed. I just said that I don't like the way they won. I mean, how the way they got cooked.
If they fought them in base and they lost in base before they got to use their Susano perfect avatar, blah blah blah. Are we gonna say that Naruto can't use it anymore?
Who this guy was?
Yes,
this wasn't like a random encounter.
Yeah, Oodie. So that's the difference right there. Like for example, when Jigen just kind of like pins Naruto down in base with rods, like when he's in the house before Naruto gets a chance to do anything, nobody's going to be mad about that because Jigen literally just attacked Naruto before he had a chance to get ready. That is not what happened with the Konoha 11
They all pulled up. They like, hey, he's coming. He just beat Naruto and Sasuke's ass. Do not underestimate these guys. And they pull up in base. No ninja trickery, no sneaking, no shadow possession.
Fight. That's how
they didn't use a single jutsu. They just jumped at him with the most obvious punch of all time.
That's how ninja fight.
No, it is not.
Not those ninja. They're from a different
has
time.
Lee ever started a fight in his gates?
I've seen Lee sneak a couple people.
I know. Would he chop Madara in half?
That's true. That is true. But
I'm not going to count the middle of a war as the start of a fight.
Okay,
that was when he pulled it, though. That's when he just got there.
Island. Mike Guy versus Kisame.
No, because that counts. Because Lee was there. Lee had like he literally pulled up there, and he immediately did that. Naruto came in, did his little thingy. They all went and rushed his ass and kicked him. Like that was immediate smoke.
My point is, not even Naruto and Sasuke started in their perfect forms against Jigen. This is how 99% of the time ninjas fight. They learn the opponent before using their power. All,
Naruto and Sasuke went into their second perfect form. So I'm not saying Lee has to use the 8th gate, but he can start in the 6th gate.
Nah, and like again, they had time to prep. Shikamaru gave him a whole speech. Told him, yo, he's coming, get ready. He beat Naruto and Sasuke. So it's not like Sasuke and Naruto underestimated him, clearly. Granted, they couldn't have won either way, allegedly, because, Ishiki's in the background. But, like, this is a stronger version, and they knew he was coming, too.
Yeah.
They have no reason to start off with anything other than immediate smoke.
Then nobody ever has any reason to start off in base, so why do they do it 99% of the time?
Who does? Most of
Everyone.
The time. The difference is context. Like, the thing is, in most contexts that you're referring to, it works. This is just not that context. This is the context where you don't do.
They had prep. They knew what was up. Like, this is an invasion. Hold up. He wasn't there during the invasion last time. Damn,
you know who else had prep?
Never around.
You know who else had prep? Conan, who didn't start with the 600 billion paper bombs.
It seems like she didn't want to use it for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Exactly. Because that's how ninja fight.
There was set up there. That was a plan.
For whatever reason.
Planning
I don't know
for that.
Why.
That was her strategy. That was a strategy. Their strategy wasn't reasonable for someone who has Shikamaru, the guy who's the smartest guy in all of Naruto.
Because in Naruto, you don't go all out, wasting your energy, until you devise a strategy.
Sure, but they had like 30 minutes to devise a strategy before he came.
Why would Choji understand Ishiki's movesets?
Okay, you ain't gotta understand his movesets, but you mean to tell me
that's what I'm saying. You do.
No, you don't. You mean standing in front, going head to head, squaring up with the guy who just beat the strongest people in your village is dumb in general. Like he knows that he's weaker than them, doesn't he?
Okay, and if Ishiki had Ashbone and Naruto, and Choji started in his hugest expansive butterfly mode, he becomes an easier target. You don't do that in ninja fights.
He could just be small in butterfly mode.
Oh, yeah, he is small butterfly. I'm not saying. Okay, so Udkun, you mean to tell me the fact that they didn't have a plan and like what was their plan?
Well, first of all, Shikamaru said he doesn't have a plan. You know, the smartest guy.
The rest of them. Oh god. Okay.
The thing is, Uodie, though, like when you want to feel, but Uodie, like when you want to feel out your opponent's abilities like that, I get what you're saying, but you don't go out of your way to put yourself in the most vulnerable position possible when doing so. For example, if Shino's there, he could send the bugs at a long distance rather than Shino running in for taijutsu.
I agree.
If somebody has clones and so on, stuff like that.
I agree.
Choji doesn't have to be big. He can just use the small butterfly mode so that he's ready to dodge faster because it makes him faster. Same with Lee. He doesn't have to go and do Hidden Lotus and break his leg immediately. He can just activate the third gate so he runs faster because he knows the opponent is fast and strong and so on.
But if they expel their ultimate move early in the fight and then they devise a strategy,
that's not their ultimate move.
Their ultimate move.
If they devise,
if you go to a gunfight with a butter knife and you get shot, then it makes you
want
the dummy.
To reserve as much stamina for the fight as possible. If Lee uses the third gate early in the fight and then they devise a strategy to feed Ishiki, and then he can't go into the 8th gate anymore because he's already been expanding his third gate chakra.
Well, we already know that's not true because of Guy. Guy not only fights the whole war, he uses the 7th gate, is completely gassed and tired, and still uses the 8th gate.
Yeah, no, 100%. He literally is like, I guess it's it for the blue beast, huffing and puffing and wheezing. It's like, it's time for
I was like knocked into the ground, nearly unconscious, had to be saved by Lee before he used the 8th gate.
He had the dead leaf narrative pushing him forwards.
Okay, Lee can have that.
Who's the new blooming buds?
Oh, I don't know, maybe his fucking son.
Yeah, the son that Naruto said frankly can't fight Otsutsuki yet. That generation.
Well, and these guys are doing so much better. These guys are doing so much better fighting Otsutsuki. Going in, charging him straight up, head first.
Unironically, unironically, based off the Jura Hidari invasion, shout out Jonathan Oliver, Team Shikadai clearly put in way more work than anyone else in the previous generation, so I think this generation is doing just fine.
Charging in head first was the best way to figure out his countermeasures.
Sending everyone?
No, it wasn't, Uodie. The best way is to just send Shino's bugs.
No, because unless you push him, you don't know what he's going to do when you devise a ultimate killing move strategy.
If you want to push him, you don't take weak people in base. You put them in their stronger forms to push him.
What I'm saying, if he has a 1 get out of jail free card, then you want to have him use that as soon as possible. You don't want to just be fighting at a distance or whatever to where he doesn't need to use it.
If you want him to do that, then you would push him. You would use a stronger form so he's forced to use it.
Or you'd say, hey, start off if that by your logic.
Uodie,
he should go out there and
surround him. Don't just all jump in the same direction with the exact same lunch jump move. Maybe just do that.
He has a Byakugan. Doesn't matter.
That he's not using.
I mean, does Byakugan work with shadows, shadow possession, genjutsu?
I mean, he is
reverse summoning, send his ass to Timbuktu.
I mean,
that's what. Why not
I know Uodie's just defending it for the argument.
No.
And I know he doesn't care as much as us, but like, come on,
literally,
this is not of us.
Well, you can't say that I don't care as much. If anything, I could care more.
Okay, but here's the thing.
You're not upset by it, is what I'm saying.
Nah, they're tweaking with this because here's the thing: they could have stalled his ass. Reverse summoning jutsus. And they knew about that too. They knew they had to stall the guy. All they had to do was use a little bit of logic. Okay, well, we can't beat him. Maybe charging him headfirst isn't the best idea. How about we take all of our summoners, have us go across the map, across the world, reverse summon his ass. Boom. Send a toad on him. Reverse summon. Boom. All right, he's 20 miles away. Oh, he can teleport back. Make his bitch ass teleport back. Make him use all the chakra. That's better than walking up and getting washed. And they didn't even die. They could have at least had the decency to die and be helpful.
I mean, also, Oodie,
clearly not how reverse summon works.
There.
Even
she literally
can
just throw weapons at him. Like, that is not her magnum opus move to throw kunai. Let's see him use Sukuna Hikono. Let's learn his abilities by throwing your weapons. That's not her ultimate technique.
No, I do have a counter to that. I have a counter to that. You're gonna love this. In the manga, she doesn't need to do it because we've already seen what happens when a ninja throws kunai at him. They've already done that in Konoha in the manga.
But you said they had to flesh out his moves. You said that. I thought we weren't assuming that Naruto
the Yamanaka mind transmission jutsu is there.
Okay, so that's exactly why
they already know his abilities then if they're doing all that.
And they don't have to waste time, figuring him out. They just go in there like, okay,
well, exactly.
Teleport his ass around.
But Kamui, exactly. So they know throwing kunai at him is ineffective. That's why 10-10 charged at him.
Oh, God.
Okay, that's fine for 10-10, but what about everyone else?
On the ground?
Well, that's why they didn't throw kunai either.
Maybe some
forbidden jutsu. But Oodie, so they know in this case, they know his abilities, so they know about his rods, they know about he can only shrink living objects, or he can't shrink living objects, so thank God we have Chino's bugs, which is billions of objects he can't shrink that they can throw at him.
That's assuming he can't shrink them.
He can't. They're living.
He can't. They're living. Why doesn't Kiba just use Wolf Fang or at least regular Fang over Fang? Well, so Kamui, I don't know. It's a more unpredictable
Kamui, but Kamui, that's not fair. Do you think that Ishiki could shrink Sasori in the Hiriko show?
No, because his core is alive. He might be able to shrink everything but the core. In
exactly.
That case, though.
Exactly. So I think he could shrink the bug shell. Maybe even crushing the bug to death.
If that's the case, organic matter, living matter, no.
Yeah.
I don't think the bug shell is quote unquote alive. It's just chrysalis or whatever.
Well, then my skin's not alive.
Part of the
I'm
bug's
wearing
body.
Your skin isn't bug shell.
Ishiki's not shrinking people's hair and eyelashes. And stuff,
that'd be ridiculous. I think Ishiki could shrink a toenail if he wanted to.
If he could shrink minor things like that, he would be using that. Because he can do things like shrink your eyeball.
Your eyeball has living cells.
Okay, well then he could peel away your skin and interrogate you for pain.
Your skin has living cells.
Hey, there's also dead cells in your skin too.
Okay, so but it's not the dead. The dead cells aren't wrapped around you to the point to where if he's let's just say you shed like a snake. Okay, they're all connected. All the dead cells. If he squeezes the dead cells, it's a dead outer layer of hollow skin cells. It's just gonna break immediately.
I don't know about that.
Considered though. The bugs themselves are already so small. I don't think Ishiki can even see the difference between the shell and the bug to do this. Nor, I don't even know, can he shrink it further when they're already that tiny? Is he allowed to do that?
I don't see why not. I imagine if Gaara attacked Ishiki with sand, he could shrink the sand grains.
Gaara Sand's alive because his mom. No, don't say true. That's bullshit. That is the bait that you and
they should have sent Gaara to
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh my God, does not work. No.
Okay, you know what, Kamui? I'm on board. I want to see it now. I want to see that fight.
Yeah. Imagine that as the weakness. That'd be so cool. I'm so down.
I'm so down. Okay, but Kamui, going back 15 minutes to address a thing you said earlier. I forgot what it was at this point. So why do they charge in head first instead of going to their ultimate forms? Because they want to save their ultimate forms for when they devise a strategy. Well, why don't they? What was the other thing? There was a second part. Why
did they devise a strategy before confronting him then?
Well, if the only thing they know is shrinking, then they want to figure out his full arsenal.
I mean, they know about the poles. They know about the
cubes.
They know about the cubes. Naruto would have told them.
Did he tell them?
Because they never used it on Naruto yet.
No, maybe.
Yeah, he did.
They arguably know about the pillars though, because
do they know about the pillars?
Again, Koji, arguably, if they were able to see before.
I mean,
he didn't use
pillars.
The
cubes aren't special. Like they're not like.
They just don't know about Daikoku Den.
Yeah, the cubes aren't special cubes. They're just big cubes. Like it could be any. Replace that with any.
Well, no,
they
are. They are special cubes.
They are.
They like disrupt chakra or whatever.
Well, either way, though, from their perspective, though, Ishiki doesn't even necessarily have this ability because, again, Naruto and Sasuke fought Jigen and he didn't use this. So from their perspective, he might just not have that ability. They would just be surprised to find out.
Oh, I remember. It was why not like fight around him or whatever? Because you want to like make him use this like get out of jail free card or whatever. What was it?
No, I said you were talking about the get out of jail free card. I'm like, well, then you should actually push him to use that for one thing. But second,
right? Yeah,
I said at the very least,
I never got.
No, but then I said at the very least, rather than all jumping in the exact same spot,
and I said Byakugan, and you said he's not using
rhythm. Maybe like stagger your attacks and fight around him. So instead of one pillar, he needs to use multiple in all directions or something like.
Well, you would want him to use this get out of jail free card, so you would go as all out as you can without going all out.
No, you would go as all out as you can. What do you mean? Like, no, you would not do that.
No, because if you go all out and make him waste this get out of jail free card, and then you can no longer go all out, and then you devise a strategy to kill him, then it doesn't matter.
The plan was to stall him.
They should have been willing to throw out Sasuke for one thing, and second of all, again, Oodie. So what is that? What is the problem with staggering your attacks and attacking in all directions instead of attacking in the same spot at the same time with your just base taijutsu fist?
Because that might not be enough to make him use this get out of jail free card.
It would be more likely to make him do that.
If you're attacking one at a time?
No, I don't mean like one at a time. I mean like a half second apart from each other. I mean, like in the same general time, but slightly staggered.
I disagree. That's not how ninja do that, because in the 5 Kage Summit, they're all attacking Sasuke at the exact same time.
No, they didn't. They literally ran ones with him until, like,
No. I'm talking about, like, Gaara's Sand, Konkuro's Sorcery Puppet, Tamari's Wind. Like, they're all attacking at the exact same time.
But that depends on the type of thing. So, like, for example, though, so let's use Pain as the example with Shinra Tensei the Diva Path. You wouldn't want to attack at the exact same time because one Almighty Push is going to counter all of you. Whereas if you attack 1 second apart, he uses Almighty Push in the first. Good thing he can't use it for 5 seconds, so all the other attacks work. Similarly with Sukuna Higona, from their perspective, instead of Ishiki shrinking one attack all at once, he would have to go shrink multiple attacks in a circle, one after the other. Or in this case, the cubes, you'd have to send multiple instead of just one. It would just be better than what they did. The only time it'd be good to pull your attack together is if you're actually pulling the attacks together. But this base stupid jump fist thing is not that.
Well, hey, it could have been. Plus, hey, to be fair, if you're saying that, then they are attacking like half a second apart. So which one is it?
Really?
So then which one is it?
Neither. They're doing the worst thing possible.
The worst future possible.
So
literally, this is what Koji saw with 10 Directions. This is the worst possible future.
So if they're not all attacking at the exact same time, and they're not attacking half a second apart, well, what is the
they are attacking
interval?
at the same time.
They are attacking at the same time. Okay. So they're pulling their attack
But they
together.
shouldn't be.
Yeah, they should stack.
I'm saying they're not pooling the attack together. Sorry. What I'm saying is they're attacking at the same time, but they're not pooling the attack together. The jutsu, it's not sand being amped by wind and lightning. It's just one fist each. Man, they're not even using both of their fists. They're just using one fist each.
Well, yeah, but that's exactly what happened with Sasuke at the 5 Kage Summit when they attacked him. They didn't pull their attack together.
No, because it's different nature of the attack.
What? It's the same thing at all. Wait, hold up. You're comparing them attacking Sasuke, who's beaten down at a distance, someone who they consider who's obviously weaker than them. Not keep in mind, he hasn't killed anyone yet, but some samurai. So he's not on the same. He's not like considered the same caliber of threat as someone who beat the 2 strongest ninja alive. I think that's also fair to discuss. And then they jump at him, dude. Like, I don't know. It's like going down the hallway when there's a machine gun. You just don't do that.
Yeah, they're also using long range in the Sasuke example versus close range when most of those people there weren't close range fighters.
I don't think long range versus close range makes a difference in this case. Look at Lee with his whole squad.
Yes, it does, because one of them is
Meteor
putting
and
themselves
Naruto
in danger, the other isn't.
Well, think about Naruto the Last with Lee and the Meteor. Plus, I mean, okay, then Lee is always in danger. He only has taijutsu, same with Guy.
Yeah, but maybe Tenten shouldn't be doing it.
Well, Tenten is a weapon expert, and so as long as she has a weapon.
And she didn't use weapons.
A weapons expert is kind of crazy work when she didn't use
weapon expert not
paper bombs or trap. Well, you know what's crazy?
If
Tenten would have used that little string contraption she used during the Chunin exams.
The written exam, yeah. Could have messed up Ishiki.
Remember the threads that Tenten
but
used?
What I'm saying, maybe she was going to. Maybe she just didn't get the chance to do it yet.
Nah.
She did have the chance to do it. She chose not to.
We can't just excuse negligence indefinitely. Like, oh, well, maybe they were going to. Maybe they shoulda, coulda, woulda.
What I'm saying,
you know what, Oodie? All right, Oodie, you're going to use that argument. Okay, Sakura was going to show up versus Hidari. She just didn't get the chance to. It's good writing, right? Great writing, peak writing. Actually.
What are you talking about, Kamui?
What I'm saying is Tenten could have hypothetically had the thing all set up, and she was going to use it. She just didn't do it.
Sakura, she had it all set up. She had her Byakugo Steel all activated. She was about to show up versus Hidari. She just never got the chance to.
I don't know about that.
Is it good writing?
Y'all,
Yeah, the silence tells me it's not. There you go.
When did I ever say it's good writing either way?
Well, I'm not going to say this Tenten Lee situation was good writing no matter what either, unless they made it actually good.
I'm going to say it's consistent with everything else they've done in Naruto.
Consistent?
Yeah.
They're consistently bad.
As long as we agree, it's consistent.
Okay, do you guys remember, though, when Tenten used that little metal thing to, like, cheat during the Chunin exams?
Yeah, and I'm saying she could have that set up around the village.
Okay, why hasn't she? Why didn't she, though? She could have. You're right. She could have had that set up across the village, and she didn't.
Yeah, and if she's waiting for a moment of opportunity, then it makes sense why she didn't start the fight with it.
Well, waiting? What opportunity they get to wait? You don't go into war waiting or like expecting, like, I don't know, downtime or prep time. Like, you're in the thick of it. She pulled up and saw him.
Then explain how Tobirama's MO makes sense in Naruto.
What do you mean? His MO?
Why doesn't Tobirama strike at your back at the start of every fight?
He literally
did that a lot. He does that a lot. He did that in Madara. He did that in the filler in anime. He did that to a lot of people. What do you mean?
Okay, Kamui. What is Tobirama's MO?
To strike when their opponent's guard is lowered.
Exactly. So why wouldn't he do that at the start of a fight?
So again, Oodie, if Tenten wasn't with the rest of the crew, she's just off in the distance and yells, "Hey, Ishiki!" and Ishiki looks over there, and then he's sealed in the jar of pot because his guard was lowered. There you go. They just beat Ishiki. Why didn't they do that? Why is your strategy better? It's not.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
I think my strategy.
Tobirama's MO works perfectly for Tenten's jar.
Going back to 5 Summit really quick, if they didn't do all of their attacks...
I'm going to let you guys go until you move on. I've yelled too much.
Okay. If they didn't attack all at the same time, maybe Sasuke's going to dodge out of the way or use a fire style or use a kunai to deflect whatever projectiles coming at his way. If they all attack at the same time, it's going to force him to use his Susano like it did, which he wouldn't do otherwise. Thus, they now know about the Susano and can counter strategy around it, so they don't have to waste their ultimate on it. So there you go. Same would apply with Ishiki. Okay. With that being said...
Ooh, this is probably... Wait, before you guys do the next topic, it's probably a great time for me to cut out. Gotta get ready for the boy. And by get ready, I mean I'm already a little late. But it's okay. He's better.
Are you planning to come back, or is this it for tonight?
I'm gonna have to call after this, because I gotta be responsible and get up early and all this bullshit. So
same.
We
are the boys.
Yeah, but he's boy. He's not called the boy. He's just boy. That's his title. That's his name, title, and rank.
Okay.
Have fun. I won't call him that for the rest of his life. Yeah, as much as I can. Boy's a little difficult at night, but we'll try. I appreciate that. Hey, everyone, as always, y'all got to show love to the Walky Talky podcast, the true pioneers of the Naruto / Boruto community. True thugs, but they won't rob you. So be sure to subscribe to them. And thanks for having me.
No, thank you for letting me have you.
Ridiculous. All right, peace, guys.
See ya.
So I never gave my stance on your Zetsu topic.
Yeah, okay.
You probably don't want it, though. So I think it's obvious that Zetsu isn't using, like, Mu's transmission jutsu, his split his body in two jutsu to deceive Chojuro. Oh no, OP Chojuro to go to Madara. He's just leaving. He's like using like Orochimaru's...
No, it's not that he's using Mu's jutsu. It's just that you literally see in the shot only the lower half is turning to goo. The other one isn't. I'll go find it real quick.
Sure. But I do think that considering Zetsu isn't just like half a body in comparison to otherwise for the rest of the war, it's probably just a full Zetsu that got to him. I mean, do we see Chojuro ever again in the series, like mid-Infinite Tsukiyomi or anything?
That's what I gotta double check, because I haven't done that. But you see, Chojuro chops him in half. I've been immobilized, blah, blah, blah. That's not a problem. And yeah, gotcha.
Yeah,
so Chojuro's here.
Orochimaru's slithery snake jutsu.
This is his foot. It's not doing it up here. You can see how it looks different here. It's turning into his face here, but like his head's there, but new head here. And then there he is.
I'm confused. Why do you think it's not all of them?
Because it's not slithering. It's only, you can see in both these shots. This is this peeling. This is this peeling. You look here, not peeling. It's already underground. This half is just staying with Chojuro. It's also how Chojuro's doesn't realize what happened.
Oh, well. Do you think Chojuro just stood there for hours?
So that's the question, because I don't recall ever seeing Chojuro.
Oh.
Problem is, I don't know if Chojuro ever did leave this spot or not. Don't know if we ever see him again. Until probably the end of the war, but I don't know what he thought at that point. The other question, though, if you scroll up slightly, back in that Naruto topic. Actually, yeah, I'll just let you do it.
Okay.
It's the one above it, anyway, so. Okay. So, as you see here, White Zetsu, just click on the image. White Zetsu, first of all, I don't know where this came from, unless the only other explanation, this could answer the other part, the other question. Perhaps Chojuro did leave, just assuming he was dead, and then the rest of Zetsu came, because he just has that white sliver, even though in the shot we see, he left the white behind. It was only the black goo. But anyway, he has this white sliver, as you can see. It's like when he rips in half from White Zetsu to begin with. So now go back to the message itself. So what happened to the white sliver on Black Zetsu? Before he goes into Obito for Ready Rebirth, he has that white part, as you see. But then he comes out, and it's there again. But then, that's the last time we ever see that part. He goes back into Obito, he comes out again, and it's gone. Where did it go? Did it just get imbued into Obito?
I mean, Obito does have this white skin on him.
But it's on the wrong side.
Well, his scar was also on the wrong side that one time.
Yeah, but either way, Like, where did it go? Did he just like donate it to Obito?
What does the anime do?
Probably the exact same thing.
That doesn't make sense.
I agree. The Kishimoto just forgot.
Well, no, that doesn't make sense.
I agree. It's not that Black Zetsu jumps off the white part and goes into Obito. He just, all of them goes into Obito, and later on he comes out, and it's just the black goo and without the white part.
Yeah, I think he just left the white part behind, so it's just like there's a white body probably like laying there or whatever. Maybe
But
like,
he
like sucked back into the ground.
doesn't, because if you look at my screen. So where does he first come out? Okay, he comes out of the ground. You can see the white slivers there.
Yes.
Then he's like merging with him, and this is weird though, because like it's, I don't know, you can see him spreading out and doesn't seem to be anywhere, but
Scroll up a
then
little
he
bit.
starts to leave,
Scroll up a little bit.
and then we see in the next
So
chapter.
first of all, why does he leave?
Just because he was done with them, I guess.
Because he did Rene Tensei?
Yeah, he did Rene Tensei.
Why wasn't he stealing the eye yet?
He's about to do it.
Yeah, but why was he leaving?
But then he comes out, and he's the full body again. Gonna take the eye. Okay. Then Minato and Kakashi go to kill him, so he jumps into Obito. And it's gone. But then the next time we see, because obviously he stays in Obito for a while, so we gotta examine. All right, I don't know when this is gonna be. There's a scene of him like planning to leave Obito. I think it's when he's talking to Madara.
I mean, where do they do the big Rasen Shuriken Light of Hope nonsense thing? Probably something there. Well, he's already standing there, so I don't know if we want to go there.
No. It's good. He starts to peel off Obito, and actually, he looks like he's just black goo here too. Actually, but then again, that's just his arm, so I won't count it. But this isn't what I was looking for. It's probably next chapter.
You're going so far unnecessarily.
So yeah, here. It's just this. There's no white sliver as he's leaving him this time.
Yeah.
And then the next time he leaves him, which is, when he starts to go on to Madara, the same thing.
Well, yeah. I agree.
So, where did it go?
Well, it's not just with him and or Obito. So I think he just left it behind.
But it's not left behind. It's not anywhere.
Well, we would just need another panel after that, right?
It's not on the ground anywhere in any of the shots when you see him there.
Well, do we see a wide shot of them again afterwards?
Pretty sure.
You're going the wrong way.
I will, because I want to also look at this, though.
Uh-huh.
But, like, when he's doing this, again, it's not on the ground next to them when he goes on to Obito either.
Why is he able to just, like, wrap around his entire body there, by the way, when he can only wrap around, like, half? Like...
I don't know, it's weird. It comes together on both sides and then just ends up on one side. Well, to be fair, though, I think when he did this shot, he was covering all of them, but obviously Madara's on this side. But then the next time he did it, he changed his mind to make it half and half. That's what I think happened there, but...
Kishimoto forgot, he just referenced his previous chapter, where they did, like, the half and half thing.
Yeah, like... Also probably because black and white there, but... Yeah, like, you can even see, like, the white part just going in. But we'll pay attention to any zoomed out shots now.
Okay.
Like, several chapters.
And I think the anime, when he does it, would just be the best place to look. But
Go ahead and find it while I do this.
Okay. Do you have any idea what episode it is?
No. I don't see White Zetsu on the ground here.
Okay. Well, I will be looking for it. So Shippuden episode. Let's try.
Yeah, nah, bro, he's not on the ground.
You have a panel? Let me see.
Just a bunch of them there. There's just no White Zetsu on the ground.
Well, what even is the background in those pages?
Just the rocks on the ground.
That perspective doesn't make sense. It looks like clouds. Or like they're in like the weird Ninshu realm.
Well, to be fair, this is colored,
It's
so
like
I don't...
speed lines. It's weird. That doesn't make sense. Where's the horizon line? What?
I think it's a weird view mixed with weird coloring. I don't know.
Definitely
let's see
weird.
what you got going on.
Okay. Anyways. Let's try episode like 393 randomly. Okay, so
Too far.
Okay, so 3.
Try 390, maybe. Whatever.
390 is filler.
There's gonna be those 2 filler episodes before Madara Uchiha arises, so.
Okay, so there's all. Oh, okay. Well,
this is related.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. It might be at the end of this episode.
Pull this back up. Just the show. Okay, so gonna be probably around here.
This episode, unless it's doing.
Is it? So this is when someone told me that if the divine tree could just like bend down over an Edo, not a, to like infinite Tsukiyomi someone, then I think the divine tree should have infinite Tsukiyomi him when he's on top of the flower. Just like look over and just get him.
Or like Victor's divine tree would have just eaten him right then and there.
I mean, I thought that was kind of funny when I read that comment. I mean, this is a really cool shot, by the way. Just want to point this shot out. That's really cool, actually. Now I just want to like look at random shots here. Just Naruto on top of the tree. But anyways, that was such a weird shot of Kakashi. I'll go back to that shot. I don't think I can. It's too hard to click on whatever specific image it was. Oh well. So it's probably not gonna be this episode. It's gonna be next one.
Yeah, I guess.
So 391. Okay. Shout out Jubito.
Did they recap that whole thing though?
Oh, is this?
Okay,
yeah. Okay, so there's.
It's getting close.
Oh, there's. Okay, there's Zetsu. I'll help you this time.
He's still got his white circle things, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yep. Okay, so he goes around him, but. Okay, well, hang on.
Naruto.
Yeah, Madara, we know you're grateful. Go back to Obito. Go back to Obito, so we don't get copyright. Come on. Why is it
because the thing's wrong? I think you have to go back more.
Oh my god, I did what? I don't understand where it is. Just click it all over.
Yeah.
Okay.
So rerun it further again.
Because
as
here
far
he's
back
already
as it goes, I
joining
guess.
to him.
Okay.
So before then, let's see what happens here. So Zetsu grabs him, just like the manga.
He doesn't need to do that.
I know, it's weird. He has the things again! He has the things!
That's what I was saying, yeah.
The Thorn Soul.
The Thorn Soul. Oh, those claw marks?
Okay, so and then it just goes into this, so.
Yeah, okay, so
It's
keep
just
going forward more then. Wait,
oh, he is.
Yeah, okay, I was right. Yeah, he just is covered completely. Why doesn't he do that again? Clearly, it gave him more control over Obito.
Why doesn't he just stay like that? Why does he ever go into the half form?
Exactly.
Oh, actually, I do think
effective.
Obito does this like control thing. It like forces him onto one half.
No, he was just trying to leave, and then or he just takes control. Like Zetsu just does this.
Yeah, and at one point, Obito doesn't let Zetsu leave.
Yeah, I know that. I showed you that earlier, but that wasn't him forcing him half. He was half. Zetsu tried to leave, but he just put him back on. Like,
well, here's the white Zetsu again. Your usefulness is over. But so okay, let's see. Do we see like? No, it just cuts straight to that.
yeah, it's gonna come. It's gonna eventually show him going in when we see
Yeah, so it just.
and stuff.
So I also don't understand like how and why he would leave Obito here. Like, why didn't Minato?
I guess to take the Rinnegan, he just thought, I don't know, maybe Zetsu thought it would hurt if he was.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Zetsu leaves.
Maybe. Okay, actually, this is so stupid. But the way that Obito is with Zetsu, his Rinnegan, is his Rinnegan covered when Zetsu's like there because of the green eye? Is that like, can you just not take the Rinnegan because of what side he's on? Well, which is dumb though, because when he does Rinne Rebirth, he makes a circle around the eyes, so it's fine.
No, because we already saw earlier that he has like both sides covered with the eyes both exposed or whatever.
That's what I was saying, but then it doesn't do that later when he does the half. That one's weird, it's inconsistent. But anyway, just do like the arrow key to the right for 5 seconds.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is, why weren't Minato and Kakashi attacking Zetsu the moment he left Obito's body, like they do in a second here?
Maybe because like they're just figuring out what he's doing.
Just like with Ishiki.
No, well, they weren't figuring anything out with Ishiki.
Okay. So they're just randomly attacking him then.
Bro, the whole goo went with him there.
Okay.
Not on the ground.
And then just gone.
Yeah.
And that's probably it.
Yeah. It's the last time you see it.
Okay. Well, might as
well
watch this.
Yeah.
Isaiah done. Bye, Zetsu. Just nobody watching.
Still there. It's not moving anywhere.
There he goes.
So, okay, hold on. We're gonna look this up. What happens to Chojuro after fighting Black Zetsu?
I'm sure that's gonna have some copyright nonsense that I'm gonna have to deal with later, but that's okay.
Oh my god, dude, this is a Reddit post. Could Black Zetsu still be around? They're literally talking about what I talked about. It shows his mask is going underground after his upper half. Let's see what everyone says.
No.
No, actually, it's a good point. When Chojuro was in Infinite Tsukuyomi, even if he was guarding Black Zetsu the whole time, could Black Zetsu have just like left during Infinite Tsukuyomi?
I mean, in my opinion, it's pretty obvious. Chojuro's not just gonna stand there with everyone else around as well. They're just gonna kill him. Or he's gonna leave.
But can they kill him? Because it seemed like the head was talking to Madara there, so...
I mean, does it make sense anyways? Like, how did Zetsu just, like, transfer his upper half to his lower half? Because Chojuro was with Zetsu's upper half, but Zetsu's upper half went to Madara because it was his lower half. It's like the Reiner transfer consciousness thing again. He just transferred it to his balls.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh my god.
But anyway, do you want to stick with Naruto topics or do some Boruto ones?
Weak.
I don't know. I don't want to go crazy late.
I was gonna say the same thing, so.
Well, okay. I have a few Naruto what would you rather do? Naruto or Boruto?
Please, Naruto, let's do it. Believe it.
Okay. So
feel free to zoom in, by the way.
There's a few that we could go with. So what do you? This is kind of funny. The perfect Susano rivals the size and power of a Biju, as, statements say, including Madara's own statement. Gaara can perform Biju level attacks. Why didn't Gaara just stalemate the perfect Susano? Hell, most Kage are supposed to be Biju level. Why didn't the 5 Kage foderize Edo Madara?
So, as I'm sure you would agree, the perfect Susano doesn't rival the size and power of a Biju. It's just more powerful. And
so why is a Madara, of all people, saying, my perfect Susano is so strong, it even rivals that of a Biju?
So, the reality is the perfect Susano scales to the power of the user. First of all, I'm sure you would
But that's Madara saying it. So Madara's perfect Susano rivals that of a Biju.
Maybe he meant the Tin Tails.
Why wouldn't he's I don't think so, because he's definitely not 10 Tails level. Or if it is, then you must agree that Hashirama can beat the 10 Tails.
So you would agree that Hashirama and Madara in their base are stronger than the full 9 Tails, or no? The full 9 Tails.
So when you ask that, you are disregarding their hacks against the 9 Tails, right?
Yes.
Okay. That is definitely, I think you could make arguments either way.
Okay. Let's say that...
Because...
Yeah, let's just say that they're relative then. So, the full 9 Tails is stronger than half the 9 Tails, which is stronger than half of all the other tail beasts. So
yeah, so it definitely makes it Madara's statement weird. What you could say is that Madara was saying Madara was thinking of specifically the 9 Tails that rivals the perfect Susano without realizing that the rest of the Biju are way weaker. Problem is, okay, first of all, do you really think Madara wouldn't know that? And second of all, why would he just say 80 rivals the 9 Tails then? But hypothetically, though, that could be an explanation. That definitely helps. But even then, as we see, half the 9 Tails plus the 8 Tails are stalemating the 5 Biju before Obito is going to try to kill them. So, again, that's the 8 Tails incorporated. So, let's just say the full 9 Tails is equal to like 1 through 6 combined. Okay, so the perfect Susano is equal through the first 6 tail beasts combined. Good thing each of the 5 Kage should be equal to one of those tail beasts. So that's basically 5 out of the 6 tail beasts right there. So it should be a lot closer.
So first of all, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying the size of the perfect Susano rivals a Biju. Unless you want to say it's like way bigger. Like, do you think it's maybe proportionate?
Well, there is problems with that. Because Gamabunta is the size of a Biju, about. Manda is also the size of a Biju, about. Orochimaru's Hydra dwarfs Manda, apparently. So unless Orochimaru's Hydra is just dwarfing the perfect Susano.
Okay, but Orochimaru's nonsense is weird anyways. I'm not going to count it. I would assume that the majestic attire is the size of the full Susano.
I agree it should be.
Okay.
And it's the size of Kurama, obviously.
So, with that being said, the power. Do you think it's fair to say the perfect Susano has Biju Bomb levels of power?
Yeah, like Madara's sword slashes are approximately equal to a Biju bomb, basically, in terms of its power. Obviously, one's cutting, one's exploding. But...
Exactly. Okay, I'm glad you think of it that way. So, that being said, it rivals the size and power. What if it's just, like, not rivaling in, like, all the other factors, like durability and speed and all that? It's just way better.
So the question is, what other factors? So obviously skill, it's not going to be that. So we can disregard skill. Speed, I don't know, because the perfect Susano isn't particularly fast, and I'm not just quoting that because of Jigen, but like, I mean, honestly, we look at the thing, it's never really doing it. It's not running fast at any time, so it's like,
I mean, Obito says it's a super fast thing.
But, durability, though, I mean, I know this is the mind space, but like, Kurama's tail did just like tank a massive Rasengan and just flick it back, and then Kurama just like tanked 50 massive Rasengans and a Rasen Shuriken with no damage.
Okay, but Madara tanked Naruto's massive Rasengan when he did it with Gaara's assistance even in the war arc.
Yeah, it took one, not like 50 plus a Rasen
Okay, but that was like
Shuriken.
the skeleton ribcage.
Isn't that Kurama's more durable than Perfect Susano? It's that Kurama might be just as durable as the Perfect Susano. Which, I mean, to be fair, the Kurama avatar seemingly is just as durable as the Perfect Susano. Meant to be the rivaling avatar for him, so there is somewhat of a reasonableness to it.
Well, do you think that Hashirama's wood golem would rival the Ninetales, the full Ninetales? Or do you think it would beat it? Do you think it would lose to it?
Well, it would definitely beat it because it has hacks anyway. But...
Okay, so the full Susano's rivaling the wood golem.
Yeah.
So the full Susano is over the full Ninetales.
But again, the wood golem with dragon thing has anti-Biju hacks, so
sure.
Is that the only reason
why?
Well,
but to be fair, did it use those anti-Biju hacks? Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, it wrapped Kurama around with the
Okay.
Well, it's done things anyway. I mean, we've seen it used that way more than once, so
that's fine. Well, either way, he's clearly not talking about his fool Susano's relative to Matatabi. I definitely don't think he meant that. So.
but now I want to entertain it this way because I mentioned Orochimaru earlier for a reason. So like, let's just remember, Gamabunta's not quite as strong as Shukaku, but he's pretty relative to him. Now Manda, unironically, just was beating Gamabunta and Katsuyu better than Shukaku, because again, Tsunade had to then join in to stop Manda to stop that. So Manda is just at least as strong as Shukaku. And then Orochimaru's Hydra is far surpassing Manda, so Orochimaru is at least high Biju level, which means he rivals the perfect Susano, which either means none of this makes any sense, or Itachi's Totsuka blade and Yada mirror just perfectly hacks countered Orochimaru, and he just is stronger than Itachi, minus Itachi's stupid weapons that makes him Susano kind of perfect Susano level because it's unfair, but like
so
not actually that strong.
For that headcanon. 100%. I have another stupid, the one to where Orochimaru's OP. I like that one.
Absolutely. So I know Orochimaru PR is on our page here too.
So I have a really stupid interpretation. So let's just go with Jigen's interpretation that the Susano just is really, really slow and weak. Like, let's just say the Susano's speed on its own, like without the user inside moving, like the Susano's speed, it's like part 1 Naruto level or something. But as we see, the Susano has to like keep up with the users. Like if Madara like dodges out of the way, the Susano just like follows Madara. So it's not the Susano doing it. It is Madara doing like all of it to scale the Susano up.
Well, I have another funny thing. So what if the perfect Susano's slow, but the smaller Susanos are faster?
It could be.
Could be an interesting trade-off.
I mean, that is the Susano size that Obito's referencing at the very least.
Yeah. So now I have a question about Orochimaru and Itachi now, though. So obviously Yadamir is pretty obvious, but in your opinion, because Orochimaru's whole thing's supposed to be that he and his snakes can regenerate like crazy, but they don't. The snakeheads don't regenerate. Do you think that like chopping with the Totsuka blade prevented regeneration? Obviously, he didn't seal him because he didn't stab it, but do you think chopping prevented the regeneration from happening.
No, because unless you're gonna say that Orochimaru was just so blindly
I know that's the
blind in
problem.
his
Did he
greed.
just know?
Exactly.
But then
Like,
why were the
you
heads
really
regenerated?
needed that Sharingan to get rid of his tunnel vision there.
Yeah. But I love the Orochimaru OP. Like, Orochimaru just is perfect Susano, but like Itachi's just unfair.
Well, you're gonna hate this, Kamui. You're really gonna hate this, but what if Orochimaru didn't have the chance to do it yet?
I think he had the chance. It just be that he didn't choose to.
Well, no, what I'm saying is that Orochimaru was defeated before the snakes could regenerate, but the snakes were going to regenerate.
Well, that just makes the regeneration seem not that fast and impressive like it's hyped up to be.
Well, what if Orochimaru... Okay, but then Orochimaru could do it really quick, he just hadn't done it yet.
That's what I'm saying. Well, that could work for his character because Orochimaru just was being cocky anyway. So that's my personal pick because I hate the idea that they can't regenerate.
Yeah,
so,
but also let's just say he has to like...
He chose not to.
Let's say he does like one jutsu to revive all heads of the snake. He wouldn't want to do that after every single snake head is defeated. He would want to do it like as minimally times as possible just to like conserve chakra.
Well, it would depend on the nature of the jutsu, but I think the most realistic scenario would be is the chakra cost would just be in proportion to how much you're regenerating. So if he does 8 one-head heals at a time, should be about the same cost as a 1 8-headed heal.
To some extent, but I don't think that's really how that would work because I think there's like an initial startup cost for the jutsu itself.
It would depend on the jutsu, like because in some cases yes, in some cases no. But a lot of regeneration jutsu doesn't function that way. So in most regeneration cases, it would just be proportionate to however much you're healing. But
sure,
it does depend on the type of jutsu, though. I just don't think it would be this jutsu.
Sure. I mean, if anything, in this context, I think it would be that type of jutsu. Especially with the context that Orochimaru wasn't doing it.
I think Orochimaru just being cocky makes sense.
I mean, that's fine.
So I had some Sage data book things.
We
you must
can
my
wait
screen.
for Sage if we wanted.
But yeah, I guess we could. Let's go with that. It's just gonna do this part. But okay. Just thought about this. Taking all filler into account, it's both cool and weird how Gaara was attacked in the Chunin exams and saved by Neji, then shortly afterwards is attacked by the Akatsuki and Neji is one of the teams sent to the Sand Village, the cool part, but it's never acknowledged why Neji is the person of all people, besides Naruto, to send to save Gaara. Instead, he's just there to fight himself. Obviously, Kishimoto didn't actually write the Neji Chunin exam story when he wrote the Katsukaki Rescue arc. He didn't even write the filler arc at all. But holistically, this is both cool and weird. Imagine if Neji was specifically chosen because he saved Gaara once before, and Shikamaru just casually mentioned it at the beginning of part 2 when he tells Naruto that Neji's a Jonin. He could have been like, Neji's already a Jonin. He even defeated an enemy that Kazekage couldn't defeat, or anything along those lines, just to indicate that, like, hey, Neji saved Gaara.
So, adding on to that, it's not just that Kishimoto didn't write that arc. It's that arc didn't exist until years later in the first place. So,
yeah.
So even if Kishimoto wrote that arc, he didn't write it back then. He didn't even conceive of the idea back then.
Exactly. But, like, imagine, though, like, just imagine if they just had that line, like, yo, Neji saved the Kazekage, and that's why they're sending Team Guy.
So, if you think about it from the producer's perspective, for the anime, for that arc, I think it makes sense for the tuning exams filler arc. You have to do the thing to where Neji becomes Jonin. Are you really gonna be that, oh, hey guys, Neji's skilled, let's just make him Jonin? No, you're gonna do something specific. What's the coolest thing you can do with the context of that arc? Yeah, let's just save the Kazekage. So that's why they did it that way.
Yeah. But imagine if at the beginning of part 2, Shikamaru mentions it.
I mean, that would be Kishimoto preparing it ahead in advance with knowledge he doesn't even have. So it'd be very impressive.
Well, this would be like a hypothetical rewrite scenario. So like he has hindsight.
Yeah. I mean, you could just say that it is in and of itself just wrong in the first place, to where the reason Neji is Jonin is because he just is skilled and didn't save the Kazekage in canon. You could just say there's a difference between the anime and manga in that regard. But
well, in this case though, you could just have it be both. They're saying Neji is so skilled that he even beat the enemy the Kazekage couldn't beat. And that's why he's Jonin.
I mean, you're not going to like
stronger
this.
Than the Kazekage.
You're not going to like this. But considering what they do with Neji in Shippuden anyways, not with what we want them to do, but with what they actually do, I think it's a stronger likelihood that Neji isn't Chunin level, or sorry, he isn't Jonin level, and he was just promoted to Jonin because he saved the Kazekage.
You're right, I don't like that.
But, like, if Neji presented the same skills he presented in saving the Kazekage, just in the tuning exams, he would have been Chunin just like the rest of them. I hate to say it.
Well, if you go by the anime, yes. But a different question. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it stated somewhere that Minato is the youngest Hokage? Just start with that.
Yes.
Is that stated somewhere?
Yes.
Do you know where?
No. Maybe like
that's the problem. Well, I don't know either, because I was wondering, but isn't that just not true based on Hiruzen flashbacks where he totally looks like the youngest Hokage? And I've seen people do the math on this.
Yeah,
Hiruzen just had to be the youngest Hokage.
Well, no, didn't Sage do it? And he said he's like in his 40s, which doesn't make sense or something. Because he looks like he's in his like 20s or whatever. Or 30s.
Yeah, but then I think people did some math. I don't remember. We have that. Maybe we'll ask. I'll put
I mean, to me it looks fine, but I think
Sage,
that
explain who was the youngest Hokage, please.
I think that Minato looks the youngest regardless. He almost looks like a teenager even. Like if we didn't get the Minato manga, then I would say that's like
it's kind of tricky. Well, unless you go with, I think this one undisputably makes Hiruzen look the youngest.
Let's see what it is. I'm sure we're a lot of chapters at this part of the story.
I know the anime especially. I don't know off the top of my head what the manga version is going to look like. When they say... When's the okay, is this anime only? When they have Tobirama and Hashirama be like, from today, you are Hokage. You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
When exactly?
I mean, Kamui, asking me if it's anime only, I'm not the guy to ask.
Well, when does that happen, though, specifically?
I don't remember. But it is somewhere. You can probably just look it up on Google quicker.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, see, this kid here is Hokage.
Okay, but... That's ridiculous. There's no way.
Starting tomorrow.
There's no way. This manga just is formatted weird. That can't be Hiruzen looking at them and them saying that to him. Okay, the funniest interpretation is Hashirama's just talking to Tobirama here, and Hiruzen just witnessed it.
Well, no, because Tobirama's the one saying it. For starting tomorrow, you are a Hokage.
Maybe he's talking to like
that's Tobirama saying it to Hashirama.
Yeah. So,
they're just talking to each other. And then, wait.
No wonder Madara was pissed.
Yeah.
Take the screenshot, though. That's funny. Oh my gosh.
So this is what he was talking about when he said Itachi thought like a Hokage. Okay, real quick, this is so stupid. So I just saw this.
Ishiki? Oh my gosh. Yep. There it is. Hey!
Thoughts? Foreshadowing?
I definitely called the Ishiki one.
Um,
No wonder
While
he's
we're
a
here-
celestial god who beats gods or whatever.
well, Oodie, how very Otsutsuki of you.
We've been over. That's my favorite translation, though, for sure.
Okay. We could. Oops. Oh my God, there's so many. Joel, how about you pick some of yours first before I just do all of mine?
Well, why don't we do that one right there? The picture, whatever that is. No, we've basically already gone over this, haven't we? Yeah, I don't even... Do you want me to just leave that there, or I don't know? Whatever.
Just in case.
Sure. So, Kamui, Axel has a question. Their question is, how did Nagato not hear Yahiko getting a running start into his death?
That was funny.
So yeah, you know who else didn't hear a running start going to the Kakashi with Rin? Wow. The excuse you could do there is the chirping bird noise is really loud.
Well, okay, so I have a couple of excuses for Nagato.
Well, real quick.
One will be in the same light as what you just said. The chirping rain is really loud. Two, Nagato is just distracted, like looking at.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
the funny thing with that,
looking
though,
at Hanzo and Conan, he's just distracted.
the funny thing with that, though, is it's the eyes of a god that are distracted on Conan. He's not even the one that has a crush on Conan. If anything, they could have reversed that role.
They could have, yeah. But yeah, maybe Conan was just stealing his heart for a brief moment there.
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah. I think that would have been best if they just both liked Conan.
I agree.
Okay.
Why
I'm
not?
not going to say it's best.
And then Nagato could just purposefully not pursue Conan after Yahiko dies in honor of Yahiko. It's just like, he's not going to be that guy to take advantage of it. I think that'd be cool. But that's a very minimal rewrite. Doesn't make that much of a difference, but I think it'd be cool.
Real quick on it, I would say the real reason they're like standing right next to one another. He's gonna hear what? The singular footstep. it's
so
not
that's in the same line as what I was gonna say. Yahiko could have just. These are ninja. They can do those dashes. He probably just did it in one step. Like he might have body flickered into the kunai for all we know.
Yeah. That being said, remind me, how exactly does it go? Because Nagato's holding the kunai straight out in front of him. But correct me if I'm wrong. I think he somehow turns 90 degrees to the left to face Yahiko when he stabs him somehow. Or does Yahiko just
looks at Conan, then he turns to turn towards
Yahiko? Oh yeah, okay. He was looking to turn to Yahiko. That's when Yahiko. Okay. Because it was gonna be weird. It's like he's looking to react to Yahiko's death when he stabbed to the side. That doesn't make sense. That's in backwards order. Or Yahiko just really quickly ran in front of him and then stabbed from the front and from. That doesn't make sense either. So yeah, it makes sense if he just looked to the side at Yahiko, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just quickly. One chapter sooner.
Favorite chapter. There you go.
Oh,
wait, who's grabbing?
Grabs his arm in the manga version. I think in the anime, I think he just has the arm out and he just runs into it.
Yeah,
in the manga here,
that is what
Yahiko
happens.
Just yanks it into him.
Oh, what? That's so weird. I don't like that.
Yeah, because look, he dashes, he notices him, and then Yahiko just blitzed Nagato.
How strong was Yahiko?
Actually, Axel, I think he did hear the running start. Interesting.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, wonder he was the leader of the Akatsuki.
So, Kamui, why is it that Nagato was able to hear Yahiko in this situation, but Kakashi, who has the Mangekyo Sharingan, he can't perceive Rin, the perfect eye to decisive the counter reaction balance move thing to the to the enemy's counterbalance attack, jutsu attack. You know, the Sharingan eye that Kakashi had for the Chidori that he was using with his perfected jutsu to decisive the counterattack.
Kakashi turned off his Sharingan mentally. Like, he had it out, but he wasn't using it.
Why? Because
well, no, he was
that's not true.
Place.
You know it's there. It's not even a thing that you have to pull up. You know it's there.
No, what I'm saying is it's out, but he's not using it.
Oh. I mean, okay. Also, I guess we could look it up if you wanted to, because I guess I can't.
No, it's definitely there.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
But
I mean, it wouldn't make sense anyways. Why would he be using the Chidori with it off anyways? Unless you want to say the Orochimaru fear hacks thing.
Yeah. Real quick though, why is Nagato such a white Zetsu in this
I know. Did he get Hashirama cells? I never understood why Hashirama cells are so white when Hashirama is so dark.
Yeah, I know. It's so weird. It's tan.
More tan than frickin' Tobirama.
Like, I understand Orochimaru, but like, why is Nagato?
Real quick, is the manga there indicating or implying which one is like Keen, which one is?
That's Zaku? What I was looking at. So this looks like Hashirama Zaku.
Yeah, interesting.
I was literally looking to see who was who.
Okay. You should make a screenshot of that.
Do you think Zaku had to be Hashirama because he was stronger, or is it just coincidence?
It's probably coincidence. I was gonna say like a boy-girl thing, but is Tobirama really that girly? But you should take a screenshot for that for like the NC Hammer quiz or whatever. That's like actually a fair question. That's not even a trick question. That is just like a good one.
That would be a really cool limitation if you had to use a girl for a girl sacrifice and a guy for a guy.
Yeah.
Just to make it more.
That's the reason that they couldn't revive like Shisui or Jiraiya in the war. They just
they just didn't have enough guys.
It makes no sense. Okay. Next topic. Oh, shout out chat. Hey, we should probably read that. Shout out Space and Hey Station. And oh yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, Albert or whoever that was. It's very difficult for me to read these.
Ataraxia. It says Kaguya died in the Boruto movie, like data book things, profile things. They say she's dead there.
But that too. Probably multiple places.
Yeah. And yes, he is out here moving like a Venom symbiote. Absolutely.
100%. Bro, your stupid like Spider-Man thing today in chat was kind of funny.
I thought so too. Space says, but wasn't the way Madara says it then? He makes it clear that he means all the tail beasts and not just one. Well, the problem is, you could interpret it that way, but I don't think so. I don't remember what chapter it was. He just says it even rivals the beat. Like, I think he says, I mean, he says the Biju or a Biju actually, but
I mean, in my opinion, all the tail beasts make sense considering that Naruto with his KCM2 is like rivaling like half of the Biju, and Hashirama and Madara are just stronger than that Naruto, so that they use even higher forms should be rivaling all the tailed beasts. It just makes sense.
Yeah, so the question is, does Kurama himself actually rival all the other 8-tailed beasts, or does he need the 8 tails to do that?
I think it's fair to say he's rivaling the other tailed beasts.
It's just so ridiculous that Kishimoto did that.
Based on everything we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the best interpretation, is just the 9 tails. That would probably be the most even, but Oodie, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
When did Jiraiya learn Sage Mode? When do you think?
Well, it was after he became the Sannin. I think that it's
Are
going
you
into their
confident?
old ages, going out of their primes. Orochimaru, Tsunade, and Jiraiya learned these forms in order to, like, make up the difference in power from going out of their prime. If not eclipsing their previous forms.
So let me have a few questions. One is, do you think Jiraiya had Sage Mode before or after being Minato's student? Or teacher?
Yeah, I was about to say. Um, could be either. Well, I think it's definitely at some point during, probably. It's after he, like, leaves, whenever Avdasanian is, like, disbanded, and they go on their merit. So I would just say after the Third Great War is wrapped up.
Do you think
Or
he
the Second
learned
War?
Sage Mode before or after Minato?
It was definitely before.
Okay, I agree. It should at least be before that.
We do know
But I have a question.
specifically when Minato learned Sage Mode as well.
Do we? Wait, did you say we do or we don't?
We do. You have to, like, do some, like, math or whatever, but, like, Sage has done it. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I remember, like, the reasoning. Because, like, we see things of, like, when he's, like, Hokage versus when he's, like, fighting in the war, and so it's, like, certain moments in time or things for whatever. It's not, like, a theory. It's, like, timeline-wise, it's literally, like, confirmed based on things that we see. But it's a Sage topic if you want to just write it down. It made sense to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's talking about there. But so my question then is, so we know that Jiraiya found Mount Myoboku when he was very young. Why did he wait like 40? Why did the Toads wait like 40 years to teach him Sage Mode?
Well,
Why
Kamui.
didn't they want to teach it to him in his prime?
Hashirama found Konoha when he was very young. Why did he wait until his mid-30s to make the village?
He didn't. That's when he founded Konoha, when he made the village.
I'm saying when he found the
What?
location. Like, he's saying to Madara, this is where I want to make the village. When he's
Well,
like,
yeah, okay, but
8.
he couldn't do it before then.
Well, he could.
Hello.
Yamato made the village in like a day.
You think get
Kid
Madara
Hashirama?
to agree?
How long do you think it's going to take Kid Hashirama to do his wood style?
Well, the problem wasn't that the point of the village was joining clans together.
Well, yeah, and he couldn't make the village?
I mean, I guess he could have, in theory, made the houses, but they probably had houses somewhere that's just off screen. You know?
Well, they had houses at their individual clan
let's just say he
locations.
does make the village. Okay, then the Uchiha's just gonna know where they are and attack it.
Well, no, I'm not saying for him to live in the village. I'm saying for him to make it.
What's the point in making it if they're not gonna live?
Well, it would be part of the peace negotiations. Hey, I made this place for us to live in. Like, what are they gonna do? Hey, you want to join places? Oh yeah, sure. Where did you have it? Oh, I don't know. Maybe like the middle of the forest. Let's just abandon our houses. No, it doesn't make sense. I refuse to join with the Senju. They're stupid. That's Darwinism right there. That is finest. Make the village first,
Okay,
and then we'll
I don't
talk.
think these are fair comparisons. The question, but again, Prime Jiraiya should be in a better condition to learn Sage Mode than old Jiraiya.
Why?
Because he's in his prime.
So
his chakra reserves are only gonna be better, not ours.
Well, I don't think that's true.
It wouldn't be his prime otherwise.
I don't think that's true.
Then he's not in his prime at the younger age.
No, I don't think that when you're in your prime is when you have the maximum chakra reserves. I don't think your chakra reserves ever go down.
Then, well, they do. Well, your stamina objectively does. We see this with Hirsen, but which makes your chakra reserves go down.
When I say reserves, I mean potential reserves.
What do you mean by that?
Like how much chakra they can have.
The Hirsen can't have as much chakra as he did when he was younger. He doesn't have as much chakra.
I don't think you understand what I'm saying, but that's okay.
I guess I don't know what you're trying to say, because what you're saying doesn't seem to make much sense in this context.
Okay.
But he wouldn't be, it wouldn't be Prime Jiraiya if it's not his Prime.
Yeah.
So, when is his Prime? You made it seem like that's when he was called the Sani, would be his Prime.
So, Kamui, do you think Hiruzen was smarter at his prime or when he was Hokage?
He might be equal. I don't know.
Kamui, you get more experience over time. Prime is just like physical stats.
He could have dementia and get number. I don't see. There's other things that could be affected.
Well, you get more experience, you learn more jutsu over time. He doesn't lose jutsu over time.
Well, he might lose the ability to do some jutsu.
That's ridiculous.
Not necessarily.
Maybe
like,
some
hypothetically,
taijutsu.
old Hashirama, if he ever got old, might not be able to do the 1,000-arm Buddha statue anymore.
Yeah, maybe when he's 1,000 years old.
But
I don't think there's any
either
indication
way,
of that. Like, is there anything that you can like think of that makes you say that?
well, if the chakra stamina reserves are just too low to do that jutsu, or if their physical capabilities, like I could definitely see a situation to where like, oh man, Hiruzen's body can't handle doing the hidden lotus anymore, because if he does it, he just uses it in the hospital for the rest of his life.
Well,
like,
yeah, I would agree to that. I think that their body wouldn't be able to keep up with certain things. I don't think that a 90-year-old guy could use the seventh gate, but I think physically he can activate it.
Yeah, but that's a different situation from the 1,000-arm Buddha statue. This Buddha statue one would be if he just doesn't have the stamina reserves to do it anymore.
I think it would just be strain on the body at that point, not the chakra limit.
Yeah, but, well, that's that bit with here is that they're specifically saying he doesn't have the stamina. So if he doesn't have the stamina, he doesn't have the chakra.
Well, that's not true.
No, it is true, because stamina turns into chakra. So if you don't have enough stamina for something, you can't have enough chakra for it.
Yeah, but that's not exactly how that works anyways.
How does it work?
Well, everyone has chakra in Naruto.
Because they have stamina.
And you can make more.
By resting.
No, by converting your stamina into chakra.
But my point is that you can, if you have 100 units of stamina before you mix any chakra,
you can only have that's already wrong. People aren't walking around with 0 chakra.
Well, it depends on whether you're going to take Ebisu's explanation at face value or not.
I'm not taking Sage's explanation at face value. No, people walk around with chakra. That's how the sensory units sense people. Yeah, I know, and I said Sage.
Okay, you disagree with Kishimoto.
Okay, I disagree with Kishimoto. Kishimoto also disagrees with Kishimoto. Sage. That's why it's inconsistent.
Either way, I wanted to say something else earlier, and I kind of got distracted now. Shoot. Right. So regardless of age, wisdom, whatever nonsense, the fact is, a Prime Jiraiya would physically be in the best condition to learn Sage Mode, no matter what.
Well, you don't need to be in a prime condition to learn Sage Mode.
I agree, he doesn't need to be in a prime condition, but he would just be in a better condition.
Are you saying that exclusively because you think he would have more chakra?
He would have more chakra, better physical ability to handle it whenever he needs. It's only going to be better, not worse.
You don't need physical ability to learn Sage Mode.
Well, you tactically do, but...
Why? What do you mean?
You need to have enough chakra. That's physical ability.
That's not physical abilities.
It is. You need to have enough physical energy to have enough chakra. You also need to have physical ability to sit still.
No, you convert your stamina into more chakra.
No, you just convert your stamina into chakra, period.
Yes.
Either way, why didn't the Toads teach it to him younger?
He just didn't want to learn it at that time. He was too busy doing other things. I mean, why didn't Kakashi teach Naruto the Rasen Shuriken until mid-Shippuden?
Well, first of all, he just didn't even think of it as a thing to teach him. And I mean, when was Kakashi going to do it anyway? He just found out Naruto learned the Rasengan of the Sasuke retrieval arc. The next morning, Naruto left for the Sasuke retrieval mission, and then the next day, he's gone with Jiraiya. When was he gonna do this?
I mean, considering how quickly he taught it to him, he probably could have taught Naruto Rasengan, since episode, 4. He could have taught him Rasen Shuriken for, episode 6.
He was going out of his way to teach Sasuke instead.
Yeah, and he could have taught Naruto, 5 years in advance, in, 3 days.
But, the Toads weren't going out of their way to teach anyone in place of Jiraiya.
Well, yeah, the Toads aren't looking to teach people.
They're telling him about his important prophecy to save the world, bro.
Well, they say his students, right?
Yeah, but Jiraiya is important for that prophecy.
Well, isn't that, if anything, reason that they don't need to teach him? They know he's gonna survive.
Well, he might only survive if he learns Sage Mode.
Well, no, if they're seeing the prophecy, and if they know they aren't going to teach him, that they know he's not gonna have it for the prophecy.
Well, no. What if they specifically see Sage Jiraiya in the prophecy, and that would make them want to teach it to him because they know he's going to learn it anyway?
Well, they're seeing teacher Jiraiya, and nowhere did Jiraiya use Sage Mode.
Well, no, because he sees Jiraiya making a critical selection, and he makes that choice in Sage Mode.
What are you talking about?
His choice to stay against Pain, he's still in Sage Mode.
You think that's the critical selection?
Jiraiya literally said it was. Well, it's also the never give up, but...
Well, I disagree with Jiraiya. Also, it's a very unclear prophecy anyways. They see it's a red-eye boy.
He does not say red-eye boy. No, that's Naruto's.
I know.
And that's not what he says with Naruto's anyway.
Yeah, and an octopus.
Yeah, that's Naruto's prophecy. That's not... Jiraiya's.
Well, that isn't what I said. I said the visions are unclear. They also say that.
Yeah, he says that they're blurry or whatever.
Well, okay.
I mean, he might have thought Jiraiya was a toad, but it's only implying Sage Mode.
So then, if they see this 80-year-old Jiraiya walking around with Sage Mode making a choice, why would they need to teach it to 5-year-old Jiraiya? Couldn't they just teach it to 79-year-old Jiraiya?
Well, he's not that old.
You get my point. And he basically is that old.
Oh, he's 50.
Yeah, but he looks 80.
Whatever it was.
He's basically that old.
No, he doesn't.
He literally calls himself old. He's an old fart.
Well, that's what a lot of 50-year-olds or even 40-year-olds. I hear 40-year-olds say that all the time.
Yeah, they're stupid.
They're wrong.
Exactly.
I agree, but I would say that to a 50-year-old.
But either way, you don't need physical condition to learn Sage Mode.
You need the physical stamina and chakra reserves.
Do you think Bunpuku could learn Sage Mode?
I don't really have anything to go off of for
Hypothetically,
that, so
Bunpuku has the chakra to learn Sage Mode. Could he do it?
Probably, but that means he has the physical ability to do it.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
That's ridiculous. So, do you think chakra leaves the body ever?
Well, yeah.
Well, okay, let me rephrase that. Do you think you can infinitely store chakra in the body outside of Byakugo Seal?
Oh. No. It seems like it has to be stored in a particular
So what
way.
would you call that?
Call what? The
Their
Byakugo
maximum
seal,
chakra potential.
100% chakra reserves?
Yeah, chakra reserves. The same thing that I was saying.
Yeah, stamina reserves.
You're being stupid on purpose.
No, you're being dumb. You're just ignoring everything.
Your chakra reserves are the thing that matter for Sage Mode.
Yeah, your chakra reserves only exist if you convert your stamina into chakra.
Kamui.
Oodie, they literally explain that for chakra, you balance physical and mental energy. But for Sage Mode, you balance physical, mental, and nature energy. So you're just making Senjutsu Chakra instead of Chakra. That's what they're actually doing.
Well, you're absorbing
what the diagram
energy
shows. The diagram doesn't show Chakra mixed with nature energy. It shows a three-way pie chart of physical, mental, and nature energy.
Yeah.
So you're literally just... You don't convert your stamina into chakra, then to nature energy. You just take the components of stamina and mix it with nature energy to make Senjutsu chakra instead of regular chakra.
So Kamui, if Bunpuku just converted all of his stamina into chakra, do you think he just like passes out?
No. Well, I don't know. Wow.
There's a reason this isn't in the series.
This isn't... Wait, what? Say that again?
There's a reason this isn't in the series.
Yeah, probably because anyone who does it would die or pass out or whatever.
Well, they definitely wouldn't die. That wouldn't make sense.
I mean, presumably, you're because even if your stamina's at 0, if it's all converting to chakra, your bodily systems might still be fine. It doesn't matter, but if your chakra hits 0 from there, you just would die.
So why do you think that... Why do you think that ninja just randomly convert their stamina to chakra? Like at random times?
Well, it's not random times.
So they only do it in combat?
Well, no, because they would want to be ready for any situation at any time.
So when do they do it?
Whenever. They either could do it mindlessly because they're so used to it as a habit, or they could just consciously be doing it, just every minute or whatever.
Is that all ninja, or is that just like all people?
All ninja. Not all people know how to make chakra necessarily.
So ninja are just always molding chakra?
No, not necessarily.
Golly, you're killing me. I don't think that a ninja's chakra reserves are directly linked to their physical condition.
Relate to their physical and mental energies.
That's how they can convert more chakra.
No, that's how they convert chakra, period, Oodie.
So do you think, if Naruto, lost a leg, his Rasengans would be smaller?
Well, technically, he would have less physical energy, but Naruto doesn't make a max-size Rasengan.
I'm saying anyway, if he made a max-size Rasengan.
Be the case. Realistically, he would just, instead of making 1,000 Rasengans, he can make 999 now, kind of thing.
Okay, I disagree.
Okay, well, you're technically wrong.
I'm talking about Naruto at full rest without converting his physical energy into more chakra.
Then there doesn't have chakra available to use. He has potential chakra, that's what stamina effectively is, but he doesn't literally have chakra to use without the conversion first.
Naruto's just walking around with 100% chakra at all times, unless he gets into a fight.
Because Kishimoto doesn't actually write in the story people actively doing conversions like is an actual thing. He just explained that's what they do. They probably do it passively because they're so used to it, but it technically is always happening whenever they do stuff.
That's ridiculous, and you can discard it. Because it's
because it's never contradicted in the series.
Ever.
It's only explained.
The series itself is that contradiction.
No, it's not, Oodie. It's the same way that they just passively walk on water without thinking about it once they're good at it. Naruto's not doing the hand side, standing there for 5 seconds before walking on water in the middle of fights once he learns how to do it. He's just doing it without thinking. That's the same way with their molding chakra. Doesn't have to think about it.
It's so
unless he's really trying to ramp up chakra, like what he does versus Gaara in the forest.
It's so clear that people are just walking around with all of their chakra at all times until they get into a fight. No,
it's not, Oodie. It's not, like, you can say that's how it feels, but because they convert chakra so quickly, mindlessly, but that's not what they're technically doing.
I mean, we see when Naruto converts chakra to make shadow clones.
No, that's him molding chakra into a jutsu.
I'm talking about when he does it against Gaara.
I literally referenced that. That would be him focusing on trying to convert a lot of his stamina into a lot of chakra all at once.
Yes.
Which is different from doing a little bit, little by little. He needed a lot all at once, so he charges up a lot. He converts a lot to do his 1,000 shadow clones. He doesn't just... That's why he had to do it in the first place, because he didn't just have enough chakra already converted to do the jutsu. He had to convert it.
Yes.
And Naruto hadn't done anything for like 3 hours. He was rested. He's fine.
Well, I think it's coming out of the Neji fight.
Right in the middle of the Neji fight.
I mean, I don't know if he was rested to 100%, but either way.
Nothing suggests he was tired whatsoever. In fact, the only implication is that he's just got so much stamina at the end of the fight he's running around, jumping around like a maniac just fine.
Well, then do you think he's not tired at the end of the Neji fight? Because nothing suggests really otherwise. It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean...
Exactly.
Kishimoto forgot.
No,
but like...
I don't think we could say that.
My point is that you don't have to like it, but like they are doing this, Oodie. It's never contradicted. It's actually only supported by scenes like Naruto versus Gaara. And that's just how it is. You don't have to like it. That's how it is.
Well, I'm not saying whether or not I like it. And you can say that's how it is. I disagree. And that doesn't make you automatically right. You can think the series agrees with you. I disagree with that. And then that's just a standstill.
Okay, that's fine. But there's more arguments in my favor. I have the literal explanations of in the story. The Naruto Gaara scene does support my point. Nothing contradicts it. The evidence would just be in my favor here.
I mean, you can use like the chapter 20 explanation. I'll just use the entire series. So if you want to say that's debunking
the entire series only supports it. It never contradicts it.
That's ridiculous.
No, it's not. You're being ridiculous. Next topic.
So why do you think you would need physical energy for
next Sage topic.
Mode? I mean, you can move to the next topic if you want. But you do just sit there and meditate for Sage Mode. Like...
That's gathering nature energy.
Yes. You know, the thing you need for Sage Mode?
Yeah, what about that?
So you can learn Sage Mode? By just sitting there?
What are you trying to say?
You can learn Sage Mode by just sitting there.
Okay,
so
and
anyone who can just sit there and has enough chakra can learn Sage Mode. Realistically...
No, has enough physical and mental energy. It has enough stamina.
Okay, now you're just being intentionally ridiculous, but...
No, I'm being intentionally being specific now. Because I agree.
Yes.
You and I will say chakra, and we all know what we mean. But because we're having this discussion, I am going to be specific on purpose.
So you're just judging the conversation based on what came before.
I'm being specific. Like, I'm not being mean. I'm being, this is what they show. I don't know what chapter specifically this is going to be in.
Plus, realistically, you don't even need all that much chakra considering Fukasaku has the stick to, like, knock it out of you. I mean, Naruto had a butt ton of chakra, but he was going to turn into a frog multiple times over.
Yeah. But he also had the total attracting a lot of nature energy, but regardless, but the reason he explains the chakra reserves thing is that if you don't have enough and you balance your nature energy, you just won't have enough nature energy to be in sage mode.
Well, exactly. It's the same thing with Minato. It's why a sage mode sucks, because
it's why he runs out so quickly. It's
exactly.
Like,
so it's the same thing as an imperfect jutsu like Chidori. The Chidori isn't actually imperfect. It's just not applicable in battle.
Yeah, like Minato is technically a perfect sage because he's good at the balancing act. He just doesn't have enough, even though he has a lot of chakra, it's just not enough to have a long-lasting stage mode compared to the likes of Hashirama and Naruto.
Exactly.
Or even, well, Jiraiya we don't know because he always used the toads who can just actively absorb more. So it's kind of hard to say with his, but...
Yeah. So, real quick, Kamui, like, if you, like, lose your leg, do you think, like, you can't eat as much or sleep as long? Or do you think it's, like, less effective when you do?
Well, okay,
because why would you have a lower potential reserve? That doesn't make sense. Obviously.
So it would depend on certain factors because, yes, you could eat as much, but your body wouldn't require as much energy because you have less cells, which means you would just get more body fat. And in which case, or if you, let's just say you gained muscle instead because you were working out more, whatever you were doing. The point is, in those hypotheticals, though, you've effectively replaced your lost leg cells with new cells. Let's just say you grew your arms bigger, and you can balance it out that way. But you're doing that extra step. And so, obviously the rest is going to be the same.
In Naruto, they wouldn't need to wait. They could just convert their energy into chakra. So they wouldn't need to do that.
Well, no, but the point is that their overall stamina reserves would just be less. Like, you lose your leg before you convert your physical energy. You just don't have as much physical energy because you don't have those cells there.
But if you ate/slept beforehand, then you could just get back up to that level.
No, you would just never be able to store as much unless you got more cells.
Well, it's not stored in your leg.
Stored throughout your body's cells and produced by them as well.
Well, you have a chakra
you just
network
would have
throughout
a less
your body.
Total. The physical energy is produced by the cells of your body. So if you have less cells, you're just not going to have as much physical energy in total.
Well, chakra is in every cell of the body.
Well, you produce physical energy from the cells of your body, and your mind/soul produces the mental spiritual energy. And then you can mix those together to make chakra, which is then fueled throughout your body.
Because I think you're just thinking about it in terms of, like, real life too much.
No, I'm using the explanations that are in the series. I want to move on.
I mean, it's like
you don't like the series' explanations.
You can say that they get less money in the bank, but that doesn't change the bank reserves.
Yes, it does, but
well, it definitely wouldn't change the reserves. It would just change the speed at which they fill up those reserves.
All right, you read this for me so I can go reheat something.
When did Koji tell Boruto about the sand Kamui. Kamui. I don't want to get into another argument over this. You're intentionally choosing things for us to argue about.
Why are you going to argue about this?
Because... okay, Kamui. Why did you choose the message that I put a skull react emoji to?
I don't know why you put the skull reaction emoji to.
Oh yeah? You want me to tell you? You want me to tell you? The answer is no, you don't.
No, I don't what?
Kamui.
I went through a bunch of possibilities and said, what do you think?
Do you want me to tell you what I think before getting into the possibilities?
Sure.
Oh my god.
I mean, when specifically, by the way, so don't just say before the sand mission started. Like, obviously.
You should choose a different topic, but if you want to do this one, okay. So,
I'm just confused.
When did Koji tell Boruto about the sand mission plan? The fact that Boruto has these flying... Oh my god, Kamui, I can't. I'm sorry. Can you please choose a different topic? We'll come back to this another time.
No, because now you've got me too curious. Just skip over the explanation. What do you think? When specifically did he tell him?
I don't think this is a... Okay, so I'm telling you my thoughts overall rather than my thoughts specifically right now. In general, I don't think this is a topic you should have written down in general, because this is part of what I think, and you have a different mindset on this, but this is the part of what I think of, like, you ruined Attack on Titan for yourself. You disagree. You think you made it better. But my mindset, I don't want to know who the traitors are, and so I'm not trying to theorize or guess the answer in advance or speculate or try and, like, make it make sense for myself. I'm waiting for the story to tell me. And or if it doesn't, then I'm not going to question it regardless if it makes sense or not. So I don't think there is a specific answer.
But you can't say that when we have had probably 1,000 Boruto makes no sense videos scrutinizing all these things that make no sense. You're in too deep.
And it's fine to theorize sometimes, but that doesn't mean literally everything we should do it for. And I feel like this is one of those instances where it's like, you're talking about the flying
different than all the other questions we've asked about, like, what was Koji's plan? Why didn't he tell Kawaki? Blah, 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 blah. It's the same line of thinking. It's the usual.
This one just takes the cake, though. The Koji one, it was, like, kind of bad, but, like, I'll begrudgingly accept it. This one's just going above and beyond with the flying Raijin markers. Come on.
I don't... Okay,
they were just there. They were just there. Okay. Shibai put them there. Who cares? Who cares? Okay. Boruto, as far as we know, has infinite littered throughout the entire Shinobi world. Maybe Koji put him there. Maybe Matsuri's trees did it. I don't know. Maybe they fell off a code when he realized they were on. Maybe Mitsuki planted it there. Who cares? But we can talk about it if you want.
I don't know, you could have ruined stream for me. It's gonna be done.
I told you we shouldn't do that topic. Okay. I tried. And Ikimoto failed.